franchise could be relocated to Salt Lake City. Three-star defensive back Xavier Scourin from Texas, the latest addition to the ASU football 2025 recruiting class. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
Happy Friday. Look for sunny skies out there. Temperatures once again in those low 90s and breezy conditions. In fact, we could see some of those wind gusts as high as 20 miles an hour here in the valley. Tonight, look for clear skies with those overnight lows in the low 60s. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report is sponsored by Cafe Rio. Cafe Rio now has bowls. That's right. Now you can build your own bowl with tasty new flavors like pollo asado, avocado corn salsa. You have veggies. Today, head to CafeRio.com for the Cafe Rio app to craft yours.
Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Roc. In Iraq and need a check? Make one call.
All right, you guys are hot.
602-977-1900 and always online at lernerandrow.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Well, happy Friday to you. Roc and Manuch with you today from Wright Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price, Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. I got a busy show today, and we thank you for tuning in for a little part of your day. But Tyler is going to join us from Augusta coming up here in about 25 minutes. Looking forward to catching up with him from a very, very windy Masters. We'll have our Vans Golf Shop update coming up here in just a few minutes. We'll do that next segment. We'll put it in there. And we will get you caught up on what's going on, so you don't have to go through your phone and try to figure it all out. We'll have it all for you here. But the big story today is the Suns. And they're going to try to claw out the play-in seeds as they are in Sacramento at Golden One Center. This is the game they have to win. They're coming off that win of the Clippers on Wednesday night. They're currently in 7th place in the Western Conference. They're just one game behind New Orleans for a chance to get the 6th seed and bypass the play-in rounds. Game time tonight, 7:30.
Well, they've got to win these two, must win, and New Orleans has to lose one of the two games in order for them to, I call it, bypass the play-in and get into the regular playoff. And the Pelicans have got, basically, they got tonight, they've got the Golden State Warriors. And then tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow or Sunday, they'll take on the LA Lakers. So they've got to lose one of those, and the Suns have to sweep these next two games against the Kings and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So at this point, matter of fact, I've got them splitting. I've got them in the play-in. Would love to see them win the two.
Which game do you have them winning?
Tonight's game.
Because it's a back-to-back for Sacramento?
Yeah, I think so. And I know that they've been nicked and banged up a little bit with their starting lineup. Key is when you look at some of the stats that are out there, both of them average about 116 points. Rebounding-wise, they're about 44 apiece. They're pretty evenly matched as far as that's concerned. But I think that the big three urgent mode that we'll probably see tonight is going to have to be in high gear that they win tonight's game. And the Timberwolves games on Sunday, I don't know. It depends. Timberwolves are pretty much locked up their situation where they're at. Now, whether they play guys or want to get guys, because they'll have, almost 4 or 5 days off for the playoff start. Maybe get one last good scrimmage in. If they lose that game, I don't think it's going to hurt their standings whatsoever.
So Phoenix can avoid the play-in entirely, but they got to go 2-0, and they need some help. They got to get a loss from the Pelicans.
That's right.
That's the big deal there. You can only control so much, but if New Orleans, stubs their toe on their last couple games, then this could be a very short postseason for the Phoenix Suns.
Well, and Golden State Lakers, they're in. They're not going anywhere, whether one's 9 or one's 10. But Golden State tonight for the Pelicans, and Zion left the game the other night, a little banged up. I think he hurt the coccyx bone. That's that real small bone right below your right there.
So you're expecting to win against Golden State, but then maybe lose against the Lakers?
Yeah, but one of the two. I mean, they're in a situation they want to.
And State doesn't need to do anything, right?
Neither do the Lakers.
So,
but I think at that point, I think those two teams want to make sure when the play-in scenario, I call it the tournament starts, late next week, Rock, that they want to fill that like 4 or 5 days. They want to play strong and feel pretty good about their game. I don't think they want to be either one want to be on cruise control. One one's going to be 9 and the other one's going to be 10, whatever that is. Again, you're playing for positioning in that play-in tournament too. Yeah. So I think that it's going to be tough road for the hopefully the basketball got smiled down on the Suns. They win the 2, and New Orleans loses one of those 2 games.
You know, the story that hit today in the Arizona Republic, it's called the Taylor Swift Act. It was signed by the governor. It's going to crack down ticket sellers. It was something that, ticket was but StubHub and Vivid Seats was against it. It's basically just to kind of stop with these fake concert tickets and these third-party sites. And I think that if you remember when Taylor Swift came into town, I think the whole system crashed. Because it was caused by these bots that were floating on the site, and they were trying to buy tickets for third-party resale. And, that same thing applies if there's a big event here. We have great events. We just coming off the Final Four, something that can happen with that. So this affects they're calling the Taylor Swift that because of what had happened, the reference of that website crashing in 2022. I think this is probably a good thing for sports fans, too.
I think, Rock, I just have some kind of control with, to your point, whether the Final Four comes back, which they eventually will. Mm-hmm. Super Bowl coming back in, several years. I mean, all the large events and even the Waste Management Phoenix Open with some of those situations. But there's got to be some kind of control because that was completely out of control when her tickets went on sale. And this group doing this and that group doing this. The next thing you know, people are out of money and a lot of them receive their money back. And we're an incredible site that says, okay, if we can't make it, we will refund your money, or if anything gets canceled, like the Aerosmith concert. Mm-hmm. Now, October 31st, we were going to go to that back in October. Just came back and said your tickets are fine. You're able to use those tickets. If anybody wants a refund, wants to back out, feel free to if you can't make it. So that's the kind of control I think if you're going to kind of tickets that you're going to look to buy or have that kind of knowledge. These second, third party groups, I mean, I'd be
making so much money on the service fees.
They are huge bucks. I mean, hey, if it's $100 a ticket, next thing you're paying $200 a ticket because of that.
Yep.
Fees and markups and whatever else you have.
Delivery fee.
Yeah, all the above.
Stupid. The sale of Cardinals hope to get back to 500. That being the Diamondbacks. They took 2 or 3 from the Rockies during the road series earlier this week. They were off yesterday. Currently 3rd place in the National League West at 6-7. So Brandon Pfaadt will be the starter for the D-backs tonight. First pitch 6:40. The Coyotes in the news for a couple of reasons. They are going to continue their 5-game road trip in Edmonton tonight. They've won 3 of their last 4, including that overtime win on Wednesday night over Vancouver. They're currently 7th in the Central Division. But the big story is that Bill Armstrong is heading up to Edmonton to meet the team, to talk to the team about everything with the relocation to Salt Lake City. The more people that you talk to, the more reports that you hear. This is basically a done deal.
I think that right there, that's the last straw. Rock, that he's going to go up there and say, hey, look, here's the deal. Here's what's going on. Do you think, Rock, what's their last game? Thursday's their last game? Wednesday, Thursday?
So, I'm not sure.
Say, guys, look, as soon as our season's over, just want to give you a heads up that this team will be relocating. The team will be sold. You guys will be relocating to Salt Lake City. And to make sure you guys are the first to hear it, that's not coming from second and third-hand sources. So I commend Bill Armstrong for flying up there before tonight's game, a little pregame meeting, just to make sure everybody's very aware. Nice victory by the Yotes, having this hanging over their head. And what Coach T talked about the other day, guys, you got to be professional. There's certain things you can't control. Do your job, do what you're supposed to do, and just see how this whole thing falls out. But I agree, Rock. I think this is pretty much him making the trip, going up there, and making sure they know exactly what's going on before it comes out tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday, or even Monday, that it is a done deal and this team's moving on.
Yes.
That is.
The players are fine. They're going to have to move. It's no different than getting traded, right? Still, it's a big issue. People love living here. The wife doesn't want to leave, right? So I think that this is going to be a bigger deal than maybe on the surface.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm real curious about now, Rock, is if Alex Murillo does go ahead and move forward, make the bid on the land, because he gets his $1 billion. It's awful tempting to go, you know what?
Forget it.
Yeah, that's a lot of time, effort, and energy, and I'm kind of coming and doing what I wanted to do, and I'm just speculating here, folks. I took a downtrodden franchise. I bought it for 30 or 40 cents on the dollar. I built it up to my standard. He's going to get probably, what would you say, Rob? Maybe $300, $400 million more than it's worth. He's going to make it move on. At that point,
2 minutes.
He doesn't have to go ahead and make the bid. I hope he does, for the sake of hockey fans in the Valley, to go ahead and say, look, I've been promised, air quotes, a franchise. If I go ahead and build this brand new arena, bid on this, get this land, and make this development happen and work from there. But you got to wonder if his heart's in it after getting shot down in Tempe with that vote.
Let me ask you, what if he goes ahead and he goes through the auction, sells the team, goes to the auction, but decides to do this, get this land, but not build an arena, just go forward with the development side? Would you boycott the play?
No.
Go?
I would say, look, he gave it his good.
Yeah.
He gave it, what do you call it, the good old college try, Rock. He really did. He decided to say, hey, look, I'm going to buy this property. I'm going to develop it. I'm not going to build an arena. I'm going to do commercial. I'm going to do retail. I'm going to do apartments. I'm going to do all the above and not build an arena. And that's his right. I mean, he's probably done what he could do. That was a home run at Tempe. And after that, I think that everybody's heart just kind of said, you know what? I think that their hearts were not in it to try to go after another side. Now, it would surprise me if he does say, oh, we're going forward. We're going to buy it. Here's our game plan. You've seen the renderings. We're going to break ground in 6 months.
Would it have been nice to just hear from him?
Absolutely.
Most owners do talk. He's one that you can walk right in here to right to it. We wouldn't even, we would, but I would say 99% of the people wouldn't know who it is.
Yeah, but
any other owners you would know right away.
The releases said, we are committed to staying in Arizona.
About that.
Nothing about the Arizona Coyotes staying in Arizona.
Hey, coming up, we'll have our Vans Masters update, some sounds as well of the night, and Tom Lehman in about 15 minutes. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B out here at Right Fox Sports 910.
Clear. Looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room. The House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady.
I'm curious if I'm recording this Vans update.
That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. The destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, KD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G Protein Bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the lakes, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score a pack at local Costco's refrigerated section. Explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G Protein Bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, has been cooling their customers for over 35 years. Fogco provides their customers with results that exceed their expectations, with reliable misting and fogging solutions that you can count on all summer long. Head to fogco.com.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their free Blanco Pasado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they're platinum gold medals and another is one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Get over to your local store, food, bar, or restaurant in all 7 different locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the
All right, we're coming back in 1 minute with the Vans update.
Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness. Money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Time for your latest Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B leaderboard update.
And this tradition, unlike any other that Masters on CBS.
Presented by Vans Golf Shops. Swing into Vans
You guys
Golf
are hot.
Shops and get custom fit today. Vans Golf Shops. Unmatched service, unmatched expertise.
The leader in the clubhouse in round 2, Bryson DeChambeau, 8 under through 13, just got 2 birdies in a row on a par 3 on 12 and on 13. Max Homa follows him. He just finished up for the day, 6 under, shot a 67 in round 1, 71 in round 2. And then Scotty Scheffler, 5 under through 7, 1 over on the day, just had 2 bogeys back to back. But some notable names at the top of the leaderboard: Colin Morikawa, good day out of him, 2 under through 17. Patrick Cantlay, 2 under through 9. Matt Fitzpatrick, 2 under through 8. But the more important thing that we have to talk about, fellas, Tiger Woods has made his 24th consecutive cut, 1 over. He shot even today, 73-72.
I love that. I think fans love that as well, too. You know, at +1 on the day, and you look at that and you go, and excuse me, at +1 overall. That's great news. We'll be watching, tuning in. Can he make the charge? You know,
just another reason to kind of sit on that couch and watch him,
Oh, my
right?
gosh. Did you watch this morning at 4 a.m.?
No,
4:30 a.m.?
no, I'm afraid I didn't.
So I was up because I had my other job before this, and he looked stiff at first. And the announcers were saying they were kind of concerned because he looked like they said Tin Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just early, getting the blood flowing. But if I would have told you before the tournament that heading into round 3 that Tiger Woods would have a better score than Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, Wyndham Clark, Shane Lowry, John Rahm right now, would you pinch me?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Yeah, you even and look at some of those. You know, even at Brooks Koepkas of the world, and it's just very interesting. Then you look at there's Phil Mickelson. He's +1. You know, he's going to make the cut as well too. It's interesting during these rounds. I go and look at the old guard and see where a lot of these guys are, and you know, you kind of go, all right, well, Freddie Couples, he just kind of fell apart, shot an 80 yesterday, and he'll go out after, or he end up with +12.
But he shot the same as Dustin Johnson.
Yes,
that's concerning
yeah.
for those who have Dustin Johnson.
Yeah.
How about Sam Burns and Jordan Spieth 9 over today?
Well, how about, and then Bubba Watson? I mean, Bubba shoots an 80. He's out. I mean,
He's old. He's old.
I mean, you look at old, or you look at a guy that's a former champ, and it's just interesting. You just wonder how much the wind affects some guys versus the other guys, because I know, and we'll catch up with Tom Lehman here in a few minutes, and I just got that text him. I said, pretty windy. He goes, very, very gusty. It seems like the European guys always seem to know how to handle the wind better, those low stingers, those low shots, because these guys grew up with that over there in Europe. I mean, a lot of wind. Unless you're a kid that grows up in Texas or Oklahoma or places that are really windy, do you get a chance to play in inclement weather, especially the wind? So it's going to be interesting to see how they survive. The winds are supposed to die down over the weekend, but it could be gusts up to 35, 40 miles an hour is what they're reporting this afternoon.
Yeah, you're watching it, and you're just seeing Tiger's pants and how
stiff.
Yeah, but it's just going crazy.
Anytime you see a pin bend, you think it bends like 5-10%. Yesterday, a couple of them were bending, and I've always wondered if it blew so hard it blow it right out of the hole. But they were pretty stiff. So I'm just intrigued. How do you play into it? If it's a 25-mile-an-hour wind right to left, are you hit like 25 yards right of the pin for it to blow in? How these guys play it and how they're going to account for it with some of these scores.
Yeah, the best round 2 score right now, 2 under by Sepp Straka, 1 under, I guess, by Homa and Bryson DeChambeau. But you see a lot of pluses on the leaderboard for today.
Yeah, I think going back to this incredible achievement for Tiger Woods to make the cut for the 24th consecutive time, and he broke the record, the tournament record, which was shared by Freddie Couples and Gary Player. But you look at Woods, and he's 48 years old, and the issues he's had with health, for him to continue to kind of plow through that and still get up there and post better numbers than all the guys that Jack's just mentioned.
And
it's incredible.
He hasn't been playing golf per se as far as tournaments are concerned, but you look at his routine and getting up and doing the rehab and the workouts and making sure that the leg could handle the undulations, the walking, as we talked a lot about that yesterday. Rocky firsthand going up and down those hills and making the cut and how his leg will respond for days 3 and 4. So hopefully he can survive that and doesn't say after 2.5, 3 hours, day 3 doesn't have to walk out or pull up because of the leg. So he says he feels good. He's tested it. But, man, you get in your tournament play going up and down those hills, I can only imagine what that's got to be like.
Real quick, we'll play some sound from last night. D-backs were off, so we don't have anything, but we had some big blowouts with the Mets and Atlanta. It's good to see Atlanta lose. Mets won 16-4. And part of it was because of this Tyrone Taylor grand slam in the top of the ninth.
In the air to pretty deep left field. Back goes Duvall near the wall, and it's out of here. A grand slam for Tyrone Taylor to add the icing on the cake. Taylor hits a grand slam off Luis Guillorme to make it 16-4 New York.
And that would be the final score. And then solo homer to start. You'll hear Diaz right here, 432 feet. And this was the first run from Houston as they got clobbered by Kansas City 13-3. This is courtesy of the Space City Home Network.
Yiner Diaz will lead things off for the Astros. Diaz is the designated hitter today. Yiner gets into one to left field. Will this go through the wind? Yes, it does. Wow. Into the fountain area in left field. Yiner cleared the wind, cleared the fence, and cleared the stands for the Astros' first run of the game. That was a bomb to left.
Are you kidding me right now? I think between the two of us, we had no idea if anybody was going to even be able to reach the fence, and he goes up over the stands into the fountain.
Yeah, that one gets to Howland there, right there on the freeway there in Kansas City. And how about the Royals right now? I mean, 9-4, and the Astros 4-10. They're going the wrong way. I know early, but you just kind of go, wow. But the Royals at 9-4 on the precipice that the voters have said, no, we're not going to play for any kind of new stadium, one way or the other, and they're not going to buy into that. But hey, good for the Royals, a long downtrodden organization the last several years.
Sounds are brought to you today by G2G protein bars. You can text G2G to 59925. You can enter today for G2G for an entire year. That's right, an entire year of protein bars. That's G2G to 59925. Standard message and data rates do apply. G2G protein bars now available in the refrigerated section in Costco. How about that? So, yeah, I'm anxious to see what the D-backs are going to do with St. Louis. I know, like you said, it's early. They're 6-7. No problem there. But I'm just concerned that, they need to get some momentum. And if they can just continue to win series like they did with the Rockies, I'm good. Taking 2 or 3, that's supposed to happen. These are the teams that they need to beat.
I'll say this: it's a matter of scoring. It's in their bullpen that's let them down. They're plus 17 on the good side in reference to runs versus the opponents. It's just that they're getting the bullpen's been pretty much, I guess, his second guess, so to speak. They're in the last few innings. So you look at some of the other teams. You look at like a team like the Rockies. Yeah, they won 2 out of 3, but the Rockies are really strong. They're minus 35 as far as run to scoring ratio. D-backs are scoring runs. It's just that they can't. Their bullpens let them down. Now against the St. Louis Cardinal team, there's a team that they're coming in. They're in last place. They're 6-7. They're 500 baseball. Let's put it this way.
No, they're 6-7. That's under 500.
Well,
same as the Diamondbacks.
They're but again, I think it's coming home. You got this series, which is I think it's going to be a good series from the standpoint of the kind of pitching and the kind of play you get from an organization like this St. Louis Cardinals team. So, from that being said, It's your 3 weeks going to your 4th week. You got the Cardinals coming in for 3. You got the Cubbies for 3. So some very good Midwest crowds will be in there before they hit the road and go to San Francisco.
With the Suns in Sacramento today, of course, there's a lot of talk about the Oakland A's going to have a home there for a small fee, but they will be there for a while. We could generate $4 million in lodging revenue and more than $500,000 in taxes. This is according to the Sports Business Journal. But there they are. The A's are going to be in Sacramento, so they're going to call them the Sacramento A's.
Yeah, you know what? You think about this A's organization, this A's team, and you kind of go back and go, okay, Billy Beane did such a great job with Les, right? Get him to the playoffs. He get this team, and you go, who is that guy and who are these guys? I can't name. I don't think one, Oakland Athletic. But you just wonder at what point, Rock, at what point the Major League Baseball, like the Coyotes, where Gary Bettman stepped in to say, hey, look, guys, we've got to make a move here or something's got to happen. Now, their saving grace is that they've got a stadium that's going to be built in Las Vegas. So they are headed for Vegas. I think they got a couple more T's to cross, I's to dot there in Vegas. But they've got a facility to go to. Could you imagine? They didn't have anywhere to go, and they had to move because Oakland wouldn't lease them at Alameda Coliseum. What the commissioner might do for them to force them to sell. I don't know if they'd move or where they would go, but thank God they've got a facility that's going to be built in Las Vegas so they can move to. Otherwise, I don't know what Major League Baseball, what Rob Manfred would do to force that if he had to.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm anxious to see how that all works out there. It's great for the city of Sacramento. They'll embrace them. Well, imagine if they have success and they get 12,000 people every night. It's full.
Oh,
it's the same thing as Mullet.
And
it's the same scenario as the Yotes.
To your point, they'll embrace it. They'll have fun with it. What was it? Sacramento Bees is what the minor league team used to be called years ago. But hey, if you're getting more than 4,000 people, I think the ownership group and everybody will be welcomed. And I know there was the one thing that was very interesting that Oakland and even tried to come to them for, I think, one last ditch effort as far as keeping this team. I don't know how you're going to do that when you've got the Tropicana about to get imploded to clear that out for a stadium in Las Vegas.
Well, with the Masters in full swing, we figured we'd go out to somebody that course inside and out. He is Tom Lehman. He will join us next from Augusta. Hopefully we'll be able to get to him, but he will join us next. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B here on Fox Sports 910.
Clear.
Here's what's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
The Suns take on the Kings in Sacramento tonight with their eyes set on getting out of the play-in seedings for the playoff. Phoenix is 7th in the West at 47-33. They're one game behind the Pelicans for a chance to nab the 6th seed and bypass that play-in round. The Diamondbacks open a 3-game home series against the Cardinals tonight. Arizona under 500 at 6-7, but they've won their last 2. Brandon Pfaadt is scheduled to get the start. The Yotes head to Edmonton to visit Connor McDavid and the Oilers. The Yotes have won 3 of their last 4 and enter the game 34-40-5. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale on Bell Road is your home for billiards, poker, and trivia. And now, the Roc and Manuch Amber by Huss Brewing. Stop by today and experience top sports viewing, off-track betting, daily specials, and ice-cold Roc and Manuch Amber drafts. Arena Sports Grill.
Over the years, Lerner Rowe has helped over 150,000 injured people recover billions of dollars for their injuries and over $1 billion in the last 5 years alone. What does that mean to you when you're looking for an attorney to handle your personal injury case? That means that Lerner Rowe is a law firm that not only has experience, but the proven results to recover money for your injuries. The insurance companies know which
sounds good. Appreciate it.
When you call us, we call them, and they know they have to pay.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
It's Jason Payne, the owner of State 48 Roofing, and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook.
Lesser roofers cut corners, cobbling together patchwork roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
There's something that binds us all: the constant hunger to improve, the obsession with every detail, and the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by two words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Mom, I got the job in Manhattan. Do you have a warm enough winter coat? What about your car?
All right, I got Tom Lehman on the line, and we're coming back as a normal rejoin.
Miles, condition, upload photos, and boom, an official cash.
Did you want a Toyota Stinger here, or did you just want a regular old bumper?
Stella, she's right there in Massachusetts. Mom, I literally just got the job.
Not everything is as simple as selling your car with Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. Price it, fix it, trade it, sell it, KBB.com it.
What can you learn from a CEO? A whole lot. Hey, it's Jody Ayler. CEOs You Should Know Phoenix is a podcast that gives you insight into how CEOs make decisions, how they communicate, and the impact they have in the Valley. CEOs You Should Know gives you a behind-the-scenes look at how these business leaders became the chief executive officers in their companies. Companies like Goodwill and Abercrombie & Fitch. You can listen to CEOs You Should Know by searching CEOs You Should Know Phoenix on your free iHeartRadio app.
Stronger starts at AutoZone. Solutions in the form of free testing, free charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
If you're talking to Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910, you're on the right Toyota phone line.
All right, gonna throw you. You guys are hot.
Toyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Right Toyota.
Good. Some great stuff joining us all over the world. Tom Lehman joins us now on the right Toyota here in Scottsdale, just on the road where he lives. Today he's at Augusta National. How you doing, Tom? What's going on?
Well, I'm windblown. I can only imagine how those guys out there on Augusta National are feeling this afternoon. It's a pretty rugged day.
It looks like it's a Pebble Beach type wind. Is it to that level?
It's just really gusty. It's blowing pretty hard. I mean, it's probably blowing 15 to 20, but the gusts are stronger and they're kind of all over the map. They're just the wind is moving around and it's making it really difficult. I mean, that anybody who shot even par today, or even better, even one over, I think has played a heck of a good round today and should be pretty proud of it. Tiger Woods should be thrilled with what he accomplished today.
Is that a pretty big buzz? We were talking about that earlier, Tom, that Tiger Woods made the cut, hasn't played a lot this year. He's been rehabbing and doing. Is that a big story there on the grounds there at Augusta?
I mean, he's got a huge crowd. I mean, of course, you would expect that. He had a great pairing, but they're all following him mostly. Yes, it is. And he was so focused. He's been so focused. You can tell that he's focused. You know, he means business. He's out there working hard, grinding his butt. He's just looking like, a guy on a mission. And you know what? He's only one really good round away from being right in the middle of this thing. I mean, the way the course is playing, the greens are getting firmer and the wind will die down some, but it's not going to go away completely. If he can play a great round tomorrow, he's right back in it.
What do you say about 24th consecutive cut he has made at the Masters? He just broke the record of Freddie Couples and Gary Player, guys that you know real well. How achievement is that?
Well, look, at nothing he's ever done has ever, totally surprised me. He's the only guy that I know, and maybe, of course, I really wasn't playing when Jack was out there and Arnie and those guys, but he's the only guy I know in my generation or just behind who consistently has exceeded expectations no matter what the situation. So that's just another achievement that is, fitting of Tiger.
What is it that when you look at that course and those 24 cuts, as Brock alluded to there, Tom, that's more amazing than a lot of people don't realize coming off of his injuries? I know he's probably rebuilt himself 3, 4, 5 times with a lot of injuries over the years on top of all that. What is it about the 24 cuts that we don't realize how difficult that is?
I think when look at, I don't even know what if you had to ask him to be honest about, hey, what are you playing? Are you playing at 60%, 70%, 80%? And what are you? Think about where you were at your best.
Yeah.
And think about where you are right now. What percentage of his healthy self, is he? And I think that's, to me, what's so remarkable is that he's had to find a way to overcome injuries, surgeries, issues, and whatever it might be, and still compete. And it's not easy to do. I mean, and it just speaks to, I think, his dedication to whenever he plays golf, he plays to be the best he can be. And one thing about Tiger, and I know that if you were on the phone with us, you would absolutely totally agree, is he's never quit on one shot ever. I don't care what the situation or whether he's playing the worst golf of his life or the best. He has never, ever not given his very best on the golf shot right in front of him, and that's a pretty remarkable character trait.
He's Tom Lehman joining us here on Fox Sports 910. Tom, is there much talk with the Live guys and the PGA Tour? Any new news on that eventually coming together?
No, pretty mum's the word, and I'm happy about that. I mean, we're at the Masters, and I'd love to see everybody just focus on the Masters. So that doesn't. I think people talk about it amongst themselves. When you see Greg Norman wandering around the crowd and saying he's there to support his boys, it's like, okay, well, there is that issue underneath the surface still, but it's all about Augusta. It's all about the Masters, and I'm really happy we can keep it that way.
And let's talk about the Augusta and the Masters, Tom, as you prepare for your many years of playing out there. These guys nowadays, is there anything different than what they're preparing for, what they're getting ready for the course? And I know the course has been lengthened quite a bit since your heyday several years ago. What is different, or what is more challenging for them nowadays?
Well, they've made the course tighter. I mean, they brought in some trees and places where you're not able to kind of spray it around quite as much. And it wasn't like you ever could spray it a lot, but there was generally some room out there, and maybe there's a little less room out there. And the course is longer. I don't know that that's really made a difference.
Sure.
I mean, the guys hit it so far that it's watching on the television, see where they're hitting it, and like they're driving it up there where we used to drive it. So it's that's kind of the sign of the times, I suppose. But the greens have always been the issue. They always will be the issue. It's a second shot golf course. You got to putt well, and nothing has changed. The greens, they haven't changed. Maybe slight little modifications here and there to make an adjustment, but it's the same set of greens that is going to test people in the past, and it's going to test them in the future. And that's why it's really nice, so you can truly compare how guys play today versus yesterday and how they play in the future, because of course with those greens, it kind of gives the same test year after year after year.
And let's say the conditions are perfect, not a lot of wind, it's 72 to 75 degrees. When you were playing there, was there a group of holes that you could make a charge at, Tom, or was there a group of holes that you were more conservative with, or just depend on just if you were feeling it that day?
Always, gave players more chances. I mean, you could, shoot low scores on the front, and I think everybody has over the years. They shot good scores on the front nine, but the back nine is the one that gives the opportunities. There's, it's kind of like if you got past number 10 and 11, and the game is shut up. You can manage 12, but 10 and 11 were the keys for the back nine. Just if you get by those two holes, then you have 7 holes, which potentially you can make birdie on. And, they got to a point in the past where they really toughened up that back nine. But it feels kind of like they've understood that it took a lot of the drama out when they made it too tough, and they seemingly backed off a little bit on that to give players the opportunities they always had in the past to the opportunity to shoot a really low round on the back nine on Sunday. And really, that's what we all watch. We all know that at the back nine on Sunday at Augusta was where it's flat, and that's the place where you can potentially shoot something super low.
Tom, what would you say? I mean, the average golfer couldn't tell you if you said it's a 10 on the step meter when it comes to the greens. Most people wouldn't know that. I mean, I can only know by the course that I always play, and it's probably always a 9 or 10, so I can only go by the club that I'm at in Scottsdale. But what is it there at Augusta? And can you compare it to anything in the Valley?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. No, I don't. Well, you could. No, that's not true. I think in the winter time with some of the courses that overseed with the power trim and the bent. And I mean, you can get those babies really moving fast. I mean, TPC Scottsdale is a perfect example, but if you go to Phoenix Country Club or anywhere like that, the greens could be lightning.
3 minutes.
So the speed is comparable, and it can be comparable. They're very, very fast, and then they can be very firm. So that's, you can get those conditions back home in the winter, but nobody has the kind of slopes and the shapes within the greens and the sides of the greens in places. And, I would say like the 14th hole and the 5th hole and, holes where you can bounce it up, but there's big bumps in the front and big slopes side to side or back to front. Nobody in town has that. So they're unique in the world of golf.
So for you, Tom, going back there, it seems like you're not, whether you're playing or doing corporate events. What is it that you always look forward to when you go to the Masters?
I like to get out early and I'm an early guy. I get out there in the morning and I like to watch guys play some. I like to watch, go to the range and watch them warm up. But the thing I think at this stage of the game is, I don't get on the course tons and tons and watch. I mean, you can see better on TV and, but the people you see, you see people from all through the game of golf and whatever level of play and whatever type of occupation they do that supports golf. You think about if you're involved with golf, probably going to be at Augusta, and that's the golf organizations from around the world, and just everybody's there. And so the people you bump into, the people you talk to, the ability to watch these young guys play, to watch them prepare, it's just it really is a special week.
Tom, thanks for making time for us, man. We always appreciate you. Thank you.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Guys, good talking to you too.
It's Tom Lehman joining us from Augusta National as a very, very windy day there in Georgia. Good stuff there.
15 to 20 miles an hour and gusting up to 35, 40 miles an hour. I'm just, to me, the way these guys handle their scores to shoot even in that kind of weather, I mean, it just tells you how good these guys are. And then to talk about the greens, you his first say, well, no, but there might be a couple that
I wish you could compare it because he could tell us that the 10 meters 12. All right, I know that's a big number, so it's going to be fast, but I can only compare to where I play.
Sure,
or where anybody plays.
Yeah,
because we all say that. Oh man, I played XYZ course the other day. The greens were so fast, or these are too slow.
And then talking about Tiger, how for Tiger, it's always been one shot at a time. I think that's the greatest thing for a lot of young athletes or athletes per se is whether it's one play at a time, one shot at a time, is his focus. But guys, his age, 24 cuts at Augusta with all he's been through. And you heard Tom talk about his back, his neck, and what percentage were you, Tiger, making some of the? I made this cut at 60%. I made that one at 80%. Just his drive. To make those cuts and Masters be his focal point in his career.
Tom Brady is in the news because he needs attention. We'll tell you what that's all about next. Right there, right Toyota. It's Fox Sports 910.
You're excited. I'm excited.
With Colin Cowher.
I noticed it's a little bit quieter over there today.
After Caleb Williams reveals painted nails and a pink phone, this is another example of headline doesn't match reality. I do not believe 95% of fans care and 0% of NFL general managers.
This is the Herd.
I can. Let me just grab
a smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, get a free quote at fogco.com. That's fogco.com.
This month's fever is here, and it might be time for that vasectomy. Call the experts. Purely Vasectomies. 844-NO-SPERM. 3 Valley locations. It's Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
A homeowner just like you.
Hey.
Decides to fix his roof.
Okay.
He backs up his truck, ties one end of the rope to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
He's working on the backside of the roof until...
What? Wait, no.
Yes. Dad was in tow.
Ooh, was he hurt?
A few bruises and his pride.
Save yourself at State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and bonded. From residential to commercial, state48roofing.com.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part, we don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at venezias.com. That's venezias.com. Venezias, a family and catering tradition.
1 minute, we're coming back with the right Toyota Stinger.
Service Titan can help you earn more stars with innovative software features designed to give your customers the most convenient, most modern experience possible. Take it from the guys at Rainforest Plumbing and Air.
Service Titan has enabled us to give each service call that personal touch.
We love it because we know who our customers are when they call us, and we even know if they have a favorite technician.
Start earning more 5-star reviews. Schedule a demo today at servicetitan.com. That's servicetitan.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle. Unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, and you can easily find them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're talking to Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910, you're on the right Toyota phone line. Check it out for yourself at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Right Toyota.
It's been a quiet last couple months in regards to Tom Brady, and I think it's gotten to him.
Getting attention, is he?
Yeah. Appearance on Deep Cut, the podcast, he said he's not opposed to returning to play if a team called him in because of an injury to a quarterback. And he mentions the 49ers, the Patriots, the Raiders. Here's a cut from the Deep Cut podcast.
Let's say
Sorry.
It's a situation, right? Maybe it's the 49ers, maybe head to the playoffs, offense is great.
Patriots,
Somebody
Raiders
look,
could be. You never know.
God forbid somebody goes down. Would you pick up that phone?
I'm not opposed to it. If they would, I don't know if they're going to let me if I become an owner in an NFL team, but I don't know if, I don't know. I'm always going to be in good shape, always be able to throw the ball. So to come in for a little bit, like MJ coming back, I don't know if they let me, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
How about that? So you're saying there's a chance, and one Tom Brady, if somebody is, I wouldn't say desperate enough to say, hey, look, we got a couple guys down. Maybe these last 5, 6, 7 games, we go grab him as an insurance policy. Number one, I think that was one question I had when you said that initially, Rock, is, okay, if he's part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, would the league allow him to do that? Number two, he mentioned like 4 teams right off the bat that seems like he's got earmarked to maybe his agent call those people and say, hey, look, if you ever get into a jam, you may want to call me. I could be available. I'll stay in great shape.
Well, that's what he said. He said he's in great shape.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he is. I mean, matter of fact, he ran his a faster 40 time before this year's combine than he did before his rookie year. And they did the transpose the two of them. He was like a 10th faster. I think it was a 4.2 and he was at a 5 flat. But, he puts that out there. If he did, I'm just so led that he speculate. He put that out there with those teams. But whether he'd be able to play or not. And I would think, knowing Tom Brady, he'd probably run that at the flagpole with Al Davis to say, hey, look, Al, even though I'm a part owner here, if somebody came knocking, would that be an issue with you, number one? Or would that be an issue with the owners or with Roger Goodell? I would think that knowing he's got all those bases covered, that Tom Brady would probably cover those bases before anything like that ever happened. That's amazing to hear that. They'd be like, no, I'm done. You ever hear, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm not going anywhere. Here's, well, I'm in pretty damn good shape. And if I'm allowed, you just never know.
Athletic director Greg Burns going to join us at 2:00. Looking forward to catching up with Greg.
Bama, big boy.
I knew he was just an intern at the Fiesta Bowl. He was an intern at the Fiesta Bowl.
Was he under you?
No, he's a couple years younger than me.
Yeah,
and it's amazing, and how it proves that internships work. He had success. And, I mean, for him to go from Mississippi State to Arizona to now Alabama, 7 years now, I believe he's been there. Anxious to talk to him. He was on the NCAA basketball committee, so we'll get his thoughts. He just replaced Nick Saban. What a job! Arguably, probably the top 3 AD job in the country, hands down.
I would say absolutely. I mean,
went to a guy that went to Arizona State.
Yeah, well, what's wrong with that? There's some oxymorons out there that tend to happen, but just thinking about. I think when he went from Mississippi State to U of A, the marketing piece more than anything that he did at U of A. I mean, just amazing some of the things he did.
When you pull in Arizona, welcome to Arizona country.
Yes, Wildcat country.
Wildcat country.
Yeah, Wildcat country.
I mean, how about that?
But I just you just wonder. They're held in such high esteem at Alabama with all their programs, and then for his basketball team to go to the Final Four. I mean, that was a first. Hell, you thought it was a playoff format for crying out loud in football. But certain people fit certain programs. So his stepping stones of going from Fiesta Bowl to Mississippi State to U of A, and then to Alabama, and I think more than any, Rock, is to maintain that excellence for all the sports programs that they have at Alabama or a school like Alabama, to keep them to that higher echelon. And to make sure that all the programs, all the coaches, and everybody is covered, not to mention the NIL and the collectives.
We're going to talk about that. Jeez. Memorabilia sales are spiking big time since O.J. Simpson passed away. People in Vegas are trying to get their hands on as much O.J. Simpson memorabilia as possible. They're asking for jerseys and cards and helmets, anything that's signed by him. The key is, though, you got to watch out for the scams that are out there. When this happens a lot, when a famous person passes away, if you liked him or didn't like him, his it becomes a memorabilia.
I think that don't you have to have that certificate of authenticity as well with some of those? I know a lot of people always ask, "Hey, can I get a certificate of authenticity with that signed ball, that jersey?" I'm like, no, that's the person that signed it. But you would wonder, you just wonder, the guy passed away, his past and everything else. It's maybe just to have it say, "Hey, I got a signed O.J. Simpson jersey." I'm pretty much sure it's his. And if you're going to get it, you look at his regular signature versus that and see if they match or coincide.
Well, now for you, you've signed a lot of autographs, Manuch. I mean, I know the way I sign my name. It's different all the time.
It's
always the same.
It's always the same.
I mean, when I'm signing a check or signing an agreement or signing anything, it's always different. I don't know how you athletes could just keep signing the same thing.
Do you notice your penmanship's getting worse?
Oh, mine's horrible
as you get older.
Penmanship is
did too.
I don't know cursive. They don't do cursive anymore, right? They don't teach you. Did you have to take cursive?
I did in third grade, fourth grade, but not today's age. I bet you they don't.
Yeah, just give me a keyboard.
Do you when you sign? Do you have? When's the last time you wrote a check?
Oh yeah, I use cursive every single time signature. Yeah,
but it might. I'm like, but I try. It's my signature on anything. I try to make it as good as I possibly can, and try to be as neat as I possibly can. Like those checks I just sent to the federal government this week, I try to make that as neat as I possibly could. So that just when it's the feds, you're writing a check, like you're like nervous. You're like, okay,
Today in 1987, you've seen it over and over and over. Larry Montin's 48-foot chip shot to defeat Greg Norman on the second hole of sudden death at the Masters. You see that all the time. How happy he was. It's awesome.
And for Larry Mize, I mean, he played pretty well on the Champions Tour, but poor Greg Norman, what did he blow, like a 5-stroke or 6-stroke lead?
Yeah.
That day, and I think it was back-to-back years that he blew the lead, and you're going, could Greg Norman ever win? But he couldn't. He just kind of choked it off. And Mize, it's really weird because that ravine is somewhat below the hole, so he got it up there. And once it got on top, it rolled. You think it would go up the hill, but it was kind of weird how it went down and slid in the cup for the victory.
Also, 2007, the late Kobe Bryant records his 9th 50-point performance of the season as the Lakers took care of the Clippers. 50-point efforts were big for him. I mean, he did a lot of them.
That's
up there.
1
Wilt
minute.
Chamberlain.
1 minute.
Sure.
It just and I wish he still was playing.
Yeah,
or
you sure do.
still be in the league.
And with all the documentaries that come, you gives a greater appreciation how hard he worked every day to achieve those kind of goals.
Yeah, coming up, Alabama Athletic Director Greg Byrne will join us. We'll handicap some NBA games with Scott Spreitzer. That's all next as we continue from Wright Toyota. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on Friday.
Clear.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B has been sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
In the fast lane of life, your fuel should keep up. Time to check out G2G protein bars, your ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether it's a workday, gym session, or navigating daily chaos, G2G has got you covered. Find them now at your local Costco in the refrigerated section, or explore all 8 fantastic flavors at G2GBar.com. Great tasting and packed with protein, so keep pace with life in the fast lane with G2G protein bars.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled that
Hey, Manuch.
there's no other body wash
What time were you wanting to replay Tom?
like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt.
What time were you wanting to replay Tom?
If only there was a mountain range separating
3:30? All right, fantastic.
from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it. My impossible
Sounds good.
skin will finally be safe.
Pack your bags and stay close to the fun at Days Inn by Wyndham.
Oh, I can't wait for our upcoming vacation.
Me too. It's time to get away.
Will you find us a hotel?
Yeah.
With comfy rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And free Wi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
Close to the action near all my favorite things, right?
Right.
Well, do you have an idea about where we can stay?
I have 1,500 ideas. Seize the days at over 1,500 convenient Days Inn locations and earn Wyndham Rewards points on every stay. Days Inn, one of 24 trusted brands by Wyndham. Find your hotel at daysinn.com.
Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Duke's on Miller and McDowell.
The only place you're going to find 3 10-foot screens with games on full volume in 3 separate rooms, all in the same bar.
Duke's on Miller and McDowell.
With dozens more big screens. You'll find every game you're looking for only at Duke's, because there's only one Duke's. Voted best sports bar by New Times.
Duke's on Miller and McDowell.
Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, carts, karaoke and trivia nights. 3 huge patios on the green belt. All doggy friendly.
Where Dukes? Miller and McDowell.
Over on here with Accident Law Group. If you were hurt in an accident, find us on the web at accidentlawgroup.com.
Welcome to Move Time Radio, presented by the Arthritis Foundation, where we say stop whatever you're doing, baby, and dance. Because movement is just one of the ways you can fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information, visit fightarthritispain.org. This message brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting from the Rappy Law Group Studios, this is AGM KESC HD3 Phoenix. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports talk, podcasts, and music. Free never sounds so good.
Playing around is not really where the Suns want to be. They'll need some help to get out of it, though, with at least one Pelicans loss this weekend. And they have to win both of their remaining games starting tonight in Sacramento and then Sunday in Minnesota. Suns are 7th in the West, a game behind New Orleans. The D-backs home for the Cardinals. Brandon Pfaadt will get the start. The Coyotes visit Edmonton. Coach Andre Jordy reportedly seeking more info from the team about those reports of a possible relocation to Salt Lake City. Jermaine Kimbrough has left Bobby Hurley's staff at ASU, and he will join Bryce Drew at Grand Canyon. I'm Frank Doherty on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
All right, we got about 35 seconds till. Coming back with the Toyota Stinger, and we have Craig.
20 miles an hour here in the valley. Tonight, look for clear skies with those overnight lows in the low 60s.
I only heard the last bit, so it was either Craig or Greg. I couldn't remember.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone. We've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. If you're talking to Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910, you're on the right Toyota phone line. Check it out for yourself at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Right Toyota.
Work. Our next guest served as an intern on the Fiesta Bowl after graduating from Arizona State. Was recently appointed to the Fiesta Bowl board. Spent 7 years in Tucson, and he's now the director. He's been the director of athletics at Alabama. Greg Byrne joins us. Sports Greg, Roc and Manuch, good to hear from you. We haven't talked to you since your Arizona days, so we are very, very grateful for you to make some time for us on this Friday.
You betcha. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Good. Did our city do its justice for the Final Four?
Did a great job. Yeah, we. The only thing you didn't do is let Alabama win the first game against Connecticut. I'm not sure who was going to beat Connecticut. They're awfully good, and we had our kids had a wonderful time there. Our fans actually we got quite a few get out there on a pretty short notice, obviously. And then when we lost, I'm on the men's basketball committee, so I stayed to do some committee work, and then we had some news out of Lexington, Kentucky that I kind of had to stay focused on. I didn't have to go out and hire a new coach.
You just did that a couple months ago.
Wait a second. Alabama, Final Four basketball? I mean, just talk about the job that Nate Oates has done with that program, because folks just go, shouldn't they? Okay, this isn't January. This is April for all things considered.
Yeah, it's pretty special. Interestingly, here at Alabama, we've won 5 national championships in 5 different sports. Football obviously gets the lion's share of the attention, and we won the most championships there. But gymnastics has won 5 national championships. Our softball program, our men's and women's golf programs, they've all won championships too. So we whatever we do, we want to be good. And obviously, we've had a lot of history in men's basketball that has been really good. The women's team has made the Final Four before, and so this was the first time we made it on the men's side. And we hired Coach Oates 5 years ago, and he goes about it a different way.
Yeah.
I remember watching him. I was here at Alabama when he and his Buffalo beat Arizona with DeAndre Ayton, and I was like, they don't shoot. 15-footer. It's either at the rim or it's out beyond the point line. And I know Steve Kerwell, and he's talked about offensive philosophy with me before, and I know that he and Nate have talked, continue to talk over time. They're very innovative from an offensive standpoint, and he's brought that here to Alabama. Kids want to be a part of it. It's exciting. Our fans have really gotten behind it, and so. Obviously had a really good year this year. We've won, out of the last, I think, 7 or 8 SEC regular season or tournament championships, we won 4 of them. And so it's really fun to see, and our fans have really gotten behind it. There's a lot of energy with it. It's really good.
Alabama Director of Athletics, Craig Burns here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. You mentioned the NCAA committee that you were on. We had been on, who's a classmate of mine from college, Stanford AD, and he had that position as chairman a couple of years ago. We didn't really mention how much basketball you have to watch outside of your conference over the course of the season. Right? I mean, you're watching. I think you primarily was what with the Big Ten, I believe.
Big Ten, yeah. I had some others, but Big Ten was the one that took the line share of attention. And yeah, you watch them when you can. They've got a program that you can watch a game in about 20 to 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And but nothing really. Even this year, so when it comes to like the SEC, I can only talk about facts. I can't talk about an opinion.
Sure.
And I can't even, when anytime Alabama gets talked about, I have to leave the room, and they do not mess around with that. They're very serious about it. And so anyways, I try to go on at least 1 or 2 road trips a year with our men's and women's teams. And so I went up to Kentucky when we played at Rupp this year in basketball, and I sat next to our radio guys. And it actually, I've talked to our folks, our leadership of the NCAA committee, and when we tipped off against them, I was like, man, they look different than us. That's a really good team. Calipari had a lot of really talented kids, and they beat us by 20. And we were a Final Four team. They beat us by 20 at their place. My point in all that is, nothing is better than watching them live in person.
Sure,
because you get to see physically how they look, and you can't always appreciate that when you're watching it on TV or watching it on film. But yeah, no, I got to watch a lot of different games. I love the game. And so it's been great to be a part of it, but obviously you got to make sure you balance that with your day job too.
Greg, report in the Sports Business Journal, I believe it was today or last night, that there's some rumblings that we could see a combined men's and women's Final Four in the future of college basketball. You think there's any truth to something like that happening?
There's been. Yeah, we've had some discussions about that. There have been some folks that have advocated for it. I don't see it getting a lot of traction right now, mostly because to pull off 2 events of that magnitude in the same community, you're talking very few towns that could pull that off successfully from a hotel standpoint, from logistics with buses and travel into there for the fans. It's already hard enough to, when you looked last week trying to get from Birmingham, Alabama to Phoenix, Arizona, you couldn't find the flight, right? They were all taken. And so I think that would put even more pressure on it. So listen, both are really good events. It was really fun to see just the growth of the women's Final Four, especially, and the women's tournament. I've heard some people compare it. I think all of us are old enough to remember Magic Johnson and Larry Bird with Michigan State, Indiana State, and I think in 1976 or 79, I always forget.
79.
I remember 79. I remember when that game was played, and that was a changing moment for the men's tournament. And I think with Caitlin Clark and the really good South Carolina and LSU teams and such, the question is that the moment now that is a springboard for a lot of other things for women's basketball, because it's a great sport, and it's really great for young women, especially girls, to get a chance to have see the young women in college basketball play at the levels that they are.
Greg, I'm just when you look at the teams that are out there, and so much parity I feel this year than the last several years in the NCAA. Is there a set standard you guys have to follow as far as the seedings are concerned? Does every guy or gal have their own criteria, and then somewhere in the middle lies the truth when you set the seedings up? How did that all kind of come about with some of these seedings?
Yeah, so you have 12 people in the room, and we all have things that we look at the analytics. The same analytics are available for everybody. Everybody has the opportunity to watch games and look at teams and what their strengths and weaknesses are. And then people hear about the net, and net is part of it. We look at the net, but it's not like, oh my gosh, this team's net is 3 spots above this one, they need to be seated higher. There's a lot of times where somebody's net, maybe in the single digits, and they're seated not as high as somebody that's in the double digits, right? So it's not a set criteria. Now, once you select, you're looking for, you have the AQ leagues that everybody gets one team in, and then you have the at-large spots. And once you're trying to select the very best teams for those at-large spots, no matter what conference they're in. that's not supposed to weigh in. Well, this league's only got 2, and this one, should have 5. So we better find some more people to put in. That's not how that works. But then you look at the data and analytics. And for instance, for me, I'm a big believer in how your non-conference strength of schedule is. I think it's good for college basketball to see good games played in November and December. And I also think that it helps prepare you for the tournament. But somebody else may say, I'm much more into offensive or defensive efficiencies than I am into that. And they don't tell you have to have this as your priority. Otherwise, you would just have a computer,
sure,
seating
3 minutes,
and all that. Now, when it comes to where people get sent, all of that there's a bunch of criteria that determines that. So if you're in the same conference, you can't, and you played twice, you can't play. Yeah, and I may be getting a few of these wrong because it was, a month ago that we were doing this, but you can't play another conference member until the Sweet 16. I think that's one of the criteria. There's something where if you're a 4 seed and you can play a 5 seed in the second game, you can't have a 5 seed have an advantage over a 4 seed, and that's for the other seeds too. So you got to be careful of that. So, for instance,
2 minutes,
BYU, if they were a 5 seed, it was going to be difficult to put them in Salt Lake this year because they would have had a definite advantage in the second game over a 4 seed, right? And so that sometimes you see teams getting shipped to different places that you think in theory, well, why the heck they do that? Well, there is a method to all of it, and that's why this year, for instance, University of Alabama, Auburn, and UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, all got sent to Spokane, and we were all, that would just happen to be how the locations and the seating worked out, and you had to stay true to those principles, and that's what we did.
Craig Bird joining us, Alabama AD here on Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B. Craig, when you look at the bowl system, being on the board here in Arizona, I've been a Yellow Jacket for over 25 years. I bleed the yellow. I love what we do. You feel confident that the bowls, especially ours, will be protected as these challenges continue in college football?
I was certainly honored to get asked to be on the board. I was not expecting that. I know Gene Smith, the AD at Ohio State's been on for the last several years, and he's retiring, but he's going to be the next chairman next year of the board for the bowl. And I interned there, 100 years ago, and so getting asked to do that was a real honor. But I think part of why they want somebody like me is we're in a very volatile time right now in our industry. And a few weeks ago, Coach Saban and I went back to D.C. and we were part of a roundtable that Senator Ted Cruz put on, and it was a bipartisan one. There was about 10 senators that were a part of it on both sides of the aisle, which was great to have both sides represented. And in that discussion, I got criticized for it, and that's okay. It's part of it. But part of my remarks were talking about, I'm concerned about the Olympic model. I'm concerned about the non-revenue sports and the opportunities that come along. Because here at Alabama, we have 21 sports. One of them makes a healthy profit in football. One of them turns a profit, but not a huge one in men's basketball. And then we have 19 sports that lose a lot of money. The two smallest losers are men's and women's tennis programs. Each lose just under $1 million a year. We lead the country in softball attendance, and we lose several $1 million a year with softball. It's very expensive to do what we do. And if all of a sudden, there is a significant line item added to our budget, and this is in Alabama, this is everywhere. So I'm just talking broad picture here. That money's going to come from somewhere. So Senator Cruz asked me on the record with a lot of media there and everything, what sports would those be? And I said, it could be any of them. I'm concerned about swimming. I'm concerned about track and field. I'm concerned about our tennis programs. And these young men and young women in these programs work really hard, tireless for their sport. And we love to see them compete. We want to see them compete. And at Alabama, we're committed to do that about as much as anybody. We're number 9 in the country overall department after the winter sports and the fall and winter sports. So we want to compete, and we're proud of that. But the money is going to come from somewhere. And people will say, well, you just should pay coaches less. Well, listen, do you think Nick Saban was a good investment for our program? he was an incredible investment for our program. And he probably could have left and gone to the NFL and made more money at some point, but he believed in college football. He believed in the University of Alabama. And it would have been foolish of us to not invest in Nick Saban. And so you have those, and that, let's say when he retired, we went and hired an assistant coach somewhere and paid him at the bottom of the market. What are you putting at risk when you do? Just saying, we'll pay somebody less. And so and college sports is such a great industry. I mean, there's so many good things that happen within the walls of our department. And obviously, controversy sells and all that. And when we have 1,000 people in our department between student athletes and employees, you're going to have some bad things happen from time to time. But if you're in the walls of this department, or Arizona State or University of Arizona or NAU, there's a lot of good that's taking place on a daily basis, and we want to make sure we can protect that for the long haul.
Greg, congratulations on all your.
So to answer your question about the Bulls, if anybody tells you they know what's going to happen in the next few years, they got a bridge to sell you too.
What's interesting too, but hey, congratulations on the board appointment. We can't wait to see you here. Hopefully, you'll be able to come when you have time. But thanks for the time today. We really appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
You betcha. Thanks, guys. Roll Tide.
That's Greg Byrne, Director of Athletics for the University of Alabama. Good get. We'll come back. We'll react. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports 9.
Clear.
The Monday. You won't if you tune in to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
So I'm coming back with a learner and roll call of the day, right?
Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
Kevin Rowe here. Not talking about car wrecks today. Instead, I want to talk about this year's Learn and Row Gives Back Golf Tournament at McCormick Ranch Golf Course on April 26th. Every year, we have the biggest, most fun golf tournament with tons of swag and libations on every hole. Last year, we raised over $1.1 million, and 100% of that money went to over 65 Arizona charities. For more information on this year's golf event and everything Learn and Row does in the community, go to learnandrowgivesback.org.
Life's a sprint, meaning G2G protein bars. Grab and go fuel for the office, links, and daily grind. Score an 8-pack at Costco or explore flavors at G2G.com. Quick, delicious, power-packed G2G protein bars, setting your pace.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the...
All right, we're coming back in about a minute with the learner and roll call of the day.
Where every day is game day.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended silver unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid.
Switch to Straight Talk. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Taxes and fees apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead.
We're coming back with learner and roll call of the day, correct?
Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love.
Sounds good. Thank you.
eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you're talking to Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910, you're on the right Toyota phone line. Check it out for yourself at righttoyota.com.
You're hot.
Price, the right selection. Right Toyota.
Well, thank Greg Byrne for joining us, Alabama AD. Very interesting, some of the things he talked about in regards to the Bulls and just what he's doing at Alabama for him and Nick Saban to head to D.C., the political part of this. I wish we would have had some time to talk to him about the NIL because I had saw something he had got involved in something a few weeks ago on a podcast or something. And he really talked about the fact that there needs to be a level playing field with NIL. Each state has different rules, and it just needs to be some type of regulation. There has to be a model, and I don't understand why it's taking so long. When you got half of the basketball players, men's basketball this year, are in the portal. Half.
50%. And it's the NCAA, Rock, and they'll take them forever to turn anything around within a short amount of time. In the meantime, things run amok. Every state has their deal. You got a collective, you got NIL. I mean, it was reported that the 5 starters for Kentucky are making close to $1 million a piece from the transfer, not from the NIL. $1 million a piece when you think about that. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's been reported, several reliable sources, whatever. But until there's regulations from the NCAA, unless, to that standpoint, he and Coach Saban, I mean Greg Byrne, went with a roundtable of 10 Democrats and 10 Republicans about trying to regulate that and try to get this thing on par. And they forced states to follow a commonality, but that's still the NCAA. The NCAA is going to say, well, we think we got it. Well, no, you don't, guys. It'll take you forever to get this. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And I think that's where that we see the separation of tier 1 teams and then the rest of them. And it's not good for college football to see that, right? It really isn't. I mean, you can have your super conferences, that's all well and good, but you think once in a while that maybe a tier 2 who's all of a sudden they're 8-2 and they're going to take on Alabama in a regular game has a chance to beat them versus absolutely no chance. I think that's what college football is all about. The underdog at some point has a chance in a bowl game or wherever else. But the NIL, if you got about 25, 30 guys making 50, 60 grand versus a Liberty team that, for example, in the Fiesta Bowl last year, who after one drive got hammered, got destroyed, you could see the difference in the athletes in that situation.
Yeah, I think with NIL initially when it came out to be was so athletes could get brand deals or get money off the jersey sales, not the taunting
contracts
and inside boosters paying so and so can come to their college. I think that's the type of NIL that needs to get eliminated. I think the players do deserve some money with certain deals or endorsements, but not with interior schools like Texas A&M or the Arkansas that have more money than the little schools.
And what started the per player was Texas Tech. I think it was 3 years ago when this all first started. Said, okay, to kind of get the rest of you guys, okay, so Tyler Shuck's making $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 with Boot Barn and Jim Bob's feed service or whatever.
So they created the collective.
So every player on that team, if they finished the season, were in good standing with their grades, was going to make $25,000.
Yeah,
which you went, okay, well, that's pretty good. And then all of a sudden, well, this team goes, well, we'll pay our guys $50,000. If Tech's paying you 25 5-star player, come to Oregon and we'll pay you $50,000 per player. And then if you really shine, you can get your own NIL deal. And I think to your point, Jax, that's when the genie got out of the bottle, and it was all hell broke loose about, okay, so what are my regulations? What are my guidelines? Oh, I don't know. We'll pay you $50,000 plus I'll get you 3 NIL deals. That's how this happened.
And then I was it BYU that came out next, and they gave everybody a truck.
Yes, gave everybody a truck. and then
it was Utah.
Okay,
yeah.
And then you had them buying in, and all of a sudden, then Ray Anderson over at ASU goes, you know what? We're Michael Crow and I don't really believe that that's kind of the way we want to go. And Rock, you and I talked about this that day that happened. We both said, well, then you better get in line because you're going to get lost. And other teams are going to go right by you because they're going to have the money. They're going to be able to move forward. And to this day, and I don't know if Ray Anderson's the former AD at ASU has admitted it, that was a huge mistake because players went, okay, I would love to go to ASU, but Catawba Tech is going to offer me this and this and that. You're not offering anything. So the ASU was way behind the
I
ball.
get that. It's easy to say that now, but I think he was trying to make a point because he realized this thing was spiraling out of control.
But you better keep up with the Joneses if you want to go get those back.
I know. I'm not a fan of NIL at all.
Well,
I'm just not.
I'm not
I believe scholarships and what about that? What about the the person that science student sells creates something and the school sells it, or a guy writes a poem and it gets published. They don't get the money for that.
He doesn't get the patent on
Everybody.
that.
I mean, it's just
I agree, Rob. I've always
get a
felt
scholarship.
that if the kids could get an extra stipend, some extra money, they get their scholarship. Okay, we'll give an extra $2,000 or $1,000 a month. That would have sufficed. Players would have went, all right, I got a few extra bucks. But when this thing got out of hand and that kid got this and this kid got that, all of a sudden, all these kids across the nation go, hey, wait a second. My stats are just as good as him. I'm leading the Big Ten in passing, and I'm taking my team to a major bowl game or to the playoffs, and that guy's making $3.5 a year. Well, what about me? What's mine?
Do you think the bright side of this, though, a couple of months ago when it came out that the Big Ten and the SEC were going to meet to try to come up with something, is that hopefully eventually the NCAA goes away and we do start to see a commissioner and someone in charge, like the Greg Burns and the Nick Sabans going to Congress. Like, you're starting to see people that are really caring about college football and college sports trying to make an effort, and the NCAA is just sitting on their hands.
You can give the Fiesta Bowl a lot of credit. I know I wore the jacket, but for them to put Greg Burns on the board, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's huge.
Brilliant. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at the history of the Fiesta Bowl, it's really never been the SEC. It's always been the Big Ten and the Pac-12 for the most part.
Yeah, the last time it was SEC was the national championship with Alabama and Clemson, but that's the national championship.
Yeah, different, but just in general, the history of the Fiesta Bowl, over the years since '70, whatever. But I thought that was cool. One other thing that we talked about with him that I'd love to get into a little bit more, this year's women's national title game peaked at 24 million viewers. That's better than 2 nights of the Tokyo Olympics. It's better than every Kentucky Derby since 1983. It's better than every final round of the Masters since 2001. Imagine if they combined the men and women's, because the women, I understand maybe this is a fluke of a year, but I think they got some momentum. What are they hold? 18, 20,000?
18,000.
Here, and you get the largest crowd ever.
They could get it done.
And they play on Friday, Sunday. And it can work.
Yeah, you can't tell me that you can't bring those 16 teams in and have enough hotel rooms for folks to look at the Super Bowl. People that come in for the Super Bowl, you have to go get a room in Tucson or North, whatever. They can handle the crowds. I think housing wise, team wise, to figure out those logistics. They have to start games like at 9 in the morning and maybe have the last game like at 9 at night.
But couldn't the NCAA ahead of time reserve hotels or reserve rooms or get an accurate, maybe approximate how many staff members, how many players that each team has ahead of time, and maybe plan ahead?
What it would take, like in Cleveland, they look at all those numbers there and to transpose them to Phoenix, with the Phoenix having the Final Four here and the Final Four combined. You got those 8 teams, basically going, okay, can we handle? I think they can handle it too, but just the way that they manipulate the crowds and they manipulate the process would be a whole nother task.
So let me ask you, Rock, you marketing guru, what cities on the top of your mind could handle a women's and men's national championship and
Phoenix? Definitely. I would say Indianapolis. I think even every city.
Indianapolis is super underrated.
Yeah, I think Los Angeles maybe not. It's too spread out, but some people make the case that our city's too spread out. Yeah, you play in the Super Bowl. You're playing these huge venues.
Yeah, they maximize.
I'm surprised they haven't done it already. Yeah. I just think they would make so much more money, and you could go back to the Coca-Colas and Pepsis or whatever, and say, we're giving you both, and maybe it comes out of 2 different buckets. Maybe there's buckets of money that just go to women's sports, just go to men's sports and general market. I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. So, hey, we're going to turn our attention to the NBA next, as we will talk to Scott from Vegas at DocSports.com. We'll do Suns, Kings, Pelicans, Warriors, Bucks, Thunder, and Pacers at Cavs. That's next. It's Roc and Manuch, Fox Sports 910.
This is what's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
Next, the 3-game home series against the Cardinals tonight. The Snakes are under 500 at 6-7, but they've won 2 straight. Brandon Pfaadt is on the hill to open the series. The Suns visit the Kings tonight with their eyes set on getting out of the play-in seedings for the playoffs. Phoenix sits in 7th in the West at 47-33. They're 1 game behind the Pelicans for a chance to nab the number 6 seed and bypass the play-in rounds. The Coyotes are in Edmonton to visit Connor McDavid and the Oilers. The Yotes have won 3 of their last 4. They enter the game 34-40-5. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910. Available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
Compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Toyota, make the right choice. Just off the right Toyota.
Life's a spring, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G Protein Bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G Protein Bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Uppercrust Pizza and Patio Wine Bar on the southeast corner of Cave Creek in the 101. Happy hour 7 days a week, 4 to 7, with 550 house wines and all drinks, 475 draft plus tons.
All right, we got a minute 20 till start. I'm coming in with Scott Sprites' intro, and he is on the line.
And it might be time for the vasectomy. Call the experts. Purely Vasectomies. 844-NO-SPERM. 3 Valley locations. That's Purely Vasectomies. 844-NO-SPERM.
Commit to 1 day and help keep ozone away. Idling causes air pollution. Please turn off your vehicle when waiting in long lines like school pickups and drive-thrus. You'll save on gas and breathe cleaner air. For more information, visit maricopa.gov/AQ.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,000 off select laundry appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. And with convenient shopping in-store and online, you can get new appliances.
All right, coming back in 30, got Scott Sprites on the line.
Like a new LG wash combo all-in-one that can run a full load in under 2 hours. Right now, get $1,000 off select laundry appliances with Spring Black Friday savings in-store and online at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Time to break down this weekend's biggest games with one of the nation's premier handicappers. From DocSports.com and seen every week on ESPN Sunday Countdown, he's Scott Sprites, and he's here to help make sure your picks pay out with Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910.
All right, Scott, we're going to talk some NBA with you today. You ready? Seatbelt fastened?
I'm ready to go, guys.
All right, massive game for both sides, Suns and Kings tonight. I see the Kings as a 5-point underdog. How are you handicapping this one?
And it's just dropped to 4.5 and a bunch of hooks in the last 2 to 3 minutes. So a little bit of money coming in on the Kings right now. Of course, the Suns can still get the 6th seed, takes them out of that play-in scenario. But, that's all Sacto can do at this point is head to a play-in game. So second of back-to-back nights for the Kings. Fox was banged up. He hurt his ankle last night, but part of that line move is that he's out there. He's going to play in all likelihood tonight. I don't know if he's going to get his normal minutes, though. It's a good spot for the Suns, but it's tough to trust this team.
Mm-hmm.
You had a couple of games ago where they're playing the Clippers and they're down 35-4 in a meaningful game, and they were never in the game after that. So then night number 2 against the Clippers, I jump on the Suns. They're playing against a bunch of G League players for the Clippers, and they're trailing 106-102 with 6 or 7 minutes to go. Fortunately for those of us who bet the Suns, they went on a 22-2 run to close the game and get the cover. By the way, guys, that game opened Suns -2. It closed Suns -11.5 for that Clippers game. So they're able to cover for everybody. I lean towards the Suns, and you know what I like a little bit more is the Kevin Durant prop over 25.5 points. The Kings don't have a decent matchup for KD. Phoenix needs the win, as everybody knows, and I think KD over that point total of 25.5 is actually the better bet than betting on the side of the total.
You know, Scott, you've got information to anything and everything, and when it goes in the blender, it's interesting to hear you talk, but is there any commonality with this Suns team? Please help us long-suffering Suns fans, would you please? From the book standpoint, when the other team starters are playing and not playing, when the Suns are on the road, or when they had eggs and bacon for breakfast, or whatever. Are you seeing anything when it comes against the lines, I'll say the last 3 weeks at all, to try to figure out who this Suns team is, where they are as far as the lines are concerned?
I really wish I could help you on that because we're all confused about this team. We all have them, playing, supposed to play a more consistent brand of basketball than we've seen out of Phoenix, and you're just not seeing it. I mean, it doesn't matter, it seems like, if they're on the road. I mean, they win 3 in a row, April 1st, 3rd, and 5th, and then they go in the tank against New Orleans and again against the Clippers, and then almost lose to a G League version of the LA Clippers in the second of back-to-back. So it's like, you look like they're coming around. I remember towards the end of March, they were able to beat the Sixers, the Hawks, and I think it was the Spurs, and they beat the Spurs by like 25. Not that the Spurs are any measuring stick. And then they come out and they get beat the next night by San Antonio. So I unfortunately for Phoenix Suns fans, the only thing that I could think of is that this team is not going to make it if they get into the play-in, or if that's what they have to settle for. They'll potentially win that play-in, but they're not going to make it past round one. I really have a hard time thinking that this team can beat a team in a series in round one.
Second game, Scotty's the Pelicans at the Warriors. The Warriors -4.5. Really nothing to play for. They're pretty much seeded. They and the Lakers are both in it. But as far as the Pelicans are concerned, I'm seeing that Zion should be playing tonight. I know he kind of hurt that tailbone and walked off the court last night. But is he good to go? How do you see this one being played out?
Yeah, he's expected to play tonight. They're listed him right now as probable. He hurt the tailbone. He hurt his wrist, a little knock to the wrist in that game last night. But as of right now, they're expecting him to play. I'm not sure how effective he's going to be or if, how long he could play out there tonight. But yeah, you're right. The Pelicans trying to hold on to that 6th seed with Phoenix knocking on the door. Tough spot. Second of back-to-back nights for New Orleans. 4th road game in 6 nights. That's not easy. Plus they're going to be, or they have been going small with their lineup of late. And I cannot see them beating the Warriors going small. That's not how you beat Golden State. And another note about this spot or the schedule, New Orleans was involved in the shootout last night with Sacramento. Their regulars saw a lot of minutes. McCollum and Murphy both played more than 40 minutes in that game. No Brandon Ingram, of course. You mentioned Williamson being a bit banged up going into this game. And we know Golden State's stuck in that play-in spot, but I like them here. I think they're going to cover that number against New Orleans, which opens the door a little bit for Phoenix.
Scott Spreitzer joining us here on Fox Sports 910. Let's turn our attention to Bucks and Thunder. Thunder coming off wins over the Hornets, Kings, and Spurs. Not sure who's going to even play for the Bucks tonight. So is this a game you kind of just stay away from?
Well, I stayed away from it, but if I had to bet it, and I've been betting a couple of these big double-digit favorites this week because some teams are just mailing it in. Oklahoma City laying 14.5 here. And by the way, I wanted to tell you guys that there's 8 double-digit favorites tonight in the NBA. Jeez. And I saw one report that said this is the most double-digit favorites in one night in the NBA in more than 30 years. So that's the haves and have-nots are playing out the string, and the have-nots or the teams with nothing to play for have already solidified whatever position they're in the playoffs are just not showing up. I can't back Milwaukee. I think this is another first-round exit talking about the Bucks. I'm not even going to put your guys' money on the Bucks, okay? You've got 4 players out tonight, including Lillard, of course, Giannis. More than 4 listed as questionable. They couldn't care less about the 2-seed battle with the Knicks. They're trying to keep their bodies healthy, those who are healthy right now. And again, I think this is a first-round exit for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't even know if they're going to just punt, guys, when the postseason starts because You've got Giannis, who may miss a series, maybe even two. They keep talking about, well, if his calf is fine, we'll bring it back. He had no Achilles injury the other night. Remember when that happened to KD? He took a month off. He had the calf injury. He came back obviously too early, and he blew out his Achilles. I think they got to be thinking about that, and they might be punting. You've got Middleton who's hurt. So you got one more year left with Lillard.
3 minutes.
They're not going anywhere post year when everybody's healthy. Oklahoma City has the number one seed on the line. They could still be the number one seed in the West. I like it here, minus 14.5. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm kind of talking myself into it.
All right, Scott, the last game, the Pacers at the Cavs. Last time I looked, the Cleveland was minus 2.5. This one, Daniel, pick them going in there to Cleveland.
Yeah, but it's important for both of these teams. I mean, the Pacers don't want to slip back into a play-in game, and the Cavaliers, they want to hang on to that 4 seed so they get home court in the first round. They've won 8 of 11 meetings between these two teams, and this is going to be, I think, about their ability to set the tempo, because Indiana's number one in scoring in the league. They want to get up and down the floor, but they play no defense. You got the Cavs so-so on offense, but they're one of the better teams in the league in points per game allowed.
2 minutes.
And field goal percentage allowed, and they expect to have their true starting 5 tonight. This would be like, I think, the 28th or 29th time, that's it, in what will be 81 games played tonight, where they've had their actual starters on the floor at the same time. I think they're going to play well. I think they'll hold the Pacers down as far as the tempo, and I like the Cavs to get the job done.
Scott, great stuff as always, man. Appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.
All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.
You too. Scott Spreitzer. Follow him on Twitter at Scott Wins, part of DocSports.com. He's been handicapping games for us for over 15 years here on Roc and Manuch. So we appreciate him making some time for us. How about that?
You know, you look at some of those other games that the double digits. I think the Nuggets is at 10.5 right now. That game is up. Raptors Heat minus 14.5. So I think the folks know that a lot of resting going on right now, Rock. Load management, where some of these teams really can't improve their status or their seeding. So they're going to rest their guys, and really
1 minute.
With playoffs are starting, so what, next Thursday, Friday, it'll dang near be a full week before some of these guys play.
It comes to the hour. We're going to catch up with the Utah Jazz play voice, Craig Bojack. He'll join us, get a reaction on professional hockey, NHL hockey coming to Utah. So we'll get his thoughts on that possibly happening, and maybe we'll talk about this disappointing year for the Jazz as well, as they were just destroyed with injuries.
And Mark Pope going from BYU to Kentucky.
Yeah, that
big
too.
move as well.
So we can discuss that. And Tom Lehman from Augusta as well. It's Roc, Manuch. We're out here, right? Toyota. 910.
This is with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Fans now don't care about the result more than they care about their own pockets. It started with fantasy football. When did the NFL take off? Fantasy football. Fantasy football. It's not that people didn't like football. They didn't love it like they like it now.
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Today at 4, tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
Experts. Purely vasectomies. Easy. Appointment options with standard consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 valley locations. Experienced specialists. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Join me and Jackson every Saturday from 11 to 1 live from the Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar at Casino, Arizona for Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar.
You hear it all the time. Lawyers talk about all their experience, many years of experience with insurance companies, and experience in the courtroom. But what they're not talking about is their results. Maybe they don't have any. At Lerner & Rowe, we're proud of our results because that's how we measure our success. We've helped over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries, with over $1 billion just in the last 5 years alone. When you want results, call Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Looking for a change in your career? All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by two words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing.
We're coming back in 1 minute with the Wright Toyota Stinger.
First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
If you're talking to Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910, you're on the Wright Toyota phone line. Check it out for yourself at Wright.
All right, you guys are
the right price, the right selection. Wright Toyota.
Really for but we'll get into it, is the United Football League game viewership declined 19% from week 1 to week 2, which is substantially less of a second week decline than both the XFL last year, which lost 50% of their audience, and then the USFL last year lost 42% from week 1 to week 2. So it's cold and steady, but as expected, it did go down. But the UFL was competing against the NCAA tournament last week, so that could do it, and the women's.
Yeah, I think from now on with baseball, with golf, UFL football on the weekend, they might get a little better viewership. I mean, being home for Easter watching, I think I watched like 10, 15 minutes of the one game on Easter Sunday. I think that they'll pick up a little bit. And, you just wonder if they're not going to get the numbers at all that they expect, how long that, Dwayne Johnson and all the powers that be with the USFL and UFL or XFL combined are going to hang in there. So hopefully they hang in there, allow these young men to develop and have a chance of moving on to the National Football League.
This is quite interesting. American flag football. They have decided to announce that they are going to launch in the spring of 2025, both men's and women's. It'll have a bunch of teams, games, home cities. They're trying to make it a little bit more competitive. They were going to come out a little early this year, and then they kind of put it on hold. So they're waiting for 2025 to come out. And I'm anxious if this type of sport will do anything, Manuch.
Yeah, I think that you see it all around, the Valley and the States. And I train like 4 girl quarterbacks who play flag football. And I mean, it's, the girls is growing. Matter of fact, they're giving scholarships for young ladies in the college football. But I'm like you, okay, it's been fun and you watch it in person. Now, how will that transcend on TV? If you've got a lot of, let's say, former stars and they're playing, that might be a big draw. But for the women, it'll be interesting to see how, if there's a couple of quarterbacks that are developing, because the ladies game is just not developing. And the girls are starting to get there. Yeah. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how that transcends on TV.
In this league, at 4 teams. There's one in Boston, Dallas, Vegas, and Nashville. You can't start a league with just 4 cities.
No, you can't.
If you're going to do it, you got to make it. You got to have. Well, you probably just didn't have the money.
And what's and you watch it, and it's it's just basically it's majority of it's passing. There's some running, and how people just take to it. I mean, I played flag football up until my freshman year in high school. I never played tackle to my freshman year in high school. But again, if you've got a lot of people that are known stars, they market them from the men's side versus the women's side, and vice versa. It could be something, but again, it's going to be about what kind of TV projected marketing that you have with something like that.
Williams, Daniels, and May. Those are 3 quarterbacks that are going to be among the 13 players that have accepted invitations for the draft next week in Detroit. It used to be you had so many guys.
You had all of them there.
But I think that's changed.
I don't really think, Jack.
They moved cities. I think people want to be at Radio City Music Hall, New York City
every year.
Every year. I think it's great for the NFL too to move cities. Like what you guys went in Nashville was a great venue.
It was awesome.
I think them moving cities, especially one in Detroit.
Well, I think Detroit, they're coming around. I would like to see some of the smaller cities get like Green Bay.
That'd be fun, sure.
Green Bay. Nobody goes to Green Bay. They don't have a Super Bowl.
Traditional teams. The speculation rumor that came out yesterday for the potential trade for Kyler Murray.
I love that trade.
That'd be a phenomenal trade.
Yeah, it was if you hadn't heard, it was Kyler and I think the 27th going to the Commanders for the Commanders number two and number 4, which the Cardinals would already have. So they had the 2 and the 4. So they could get May, and then they could get Harrison.
Sure.
But it's just funny listening to some of these commentators out there. They're not going to take Harrison. But you'd be stupid not to take him.
I agree, Rock.
No matter what, I understand how the game is played.
Sure.
But man, how do you pass on him? Even if this is a run-first offense, you gotta go for it.
There's no home run hitter on this team. Period. So you have to go get him. He's what they say, a once-in-a-generational receiver. And I think those are some of the things that I think Michael Bidwell will say, look, because he's in that room. He micromanages this draft. Okay, you get the approval. He's not going to allow this hype around this receiver to get away from his Arizona Cardinal team. And if they made that trade, you imagine whatever quarterback you want it to, plus Harrison at 4. I mean, there's your built-in, a number 1 impact. There's your built-in hype. They may not go to the playoffs because of the experience, but right there, you've got ground. You got a basis of laying that groundwork for the future of this Cardinals team.
I think the best part about him is he's no drama at all. He just wants to play football. All the stuff you hear about him in the headlines is him not doing the pro day, which he didn't need to, him not doing the combine, which he didn't need to. DeAndre Hopkins, when he was here, all drama.
Sure.
The last time we've seen a receiver with no drama was probably Fitz?
Larry. Absolutely, Larry. Yeah. Yeah, I think guys prior to that would have been, Frank Sanders and Rob Moore.
Also, his dad is a player. Got to give him some
phenomenal receiver. But I think that's important, Jax. When these guys get drafted, they don't want anything circling above. They invest so much money. They don't want any drama. They want a guy. What do we hear time and time again? How much does this kid love football? Does he want to play? Does he want to study? Does he want to work at it? That is one of the commonalities from all of the pundits, the scouts, the gurus, whomever, say that question's asked 95 times over and over into these kids to make sure they get the right answer. And he's one of those young men.
I think this NFL draft's going to be interesting because right now it's super quiet. We haven't heard much buzz on who's going to go 2, 3. And then you've got teams like the Vikings and the Raiders. Are they going to trade up? The Vikings have 2 first-round picks currently and could trade up in the top 5. So I think all chaos is about to brew here shortly.
It looks as though all the top stars, so to speak, will be there. And you talk about Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Brian Thompson, most of the receiving guys, Romeo Dunze, linebackers. I think all of the top, I'm going to say 20, looks like that they're going to be there. But yeah, you're right, Rock. It's used to be like there'd be 40 of them there that would stay there for the first 2 rounds, and they would be there. And Nashville, it seemed like everybody was there because it's Nashville, it's Nash Vegas. But that was fun because that room, the way it had spread out, these guys would call it seemed like all those guys were right there. They come walking up to the podium. That was fun.
So draft first of 3 days will begin on the 25th, right? And then we'll go
2 weeks.
We'll go for 3. We'll go for. I said next week. Yeah, 2 weeks. I would really just love to go back to Saturday morning.
I love that.
I love the whole day. 2 days of we used to do these draft shows, Jax, and you would do a draft show started at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. We do it.
Go to 2, whatever. But you get the first 2 rounds in that day, and it was fast. It was great. It was just
anticipation awesome. In the room.
And what was good too is there was no social media. So you didn't have people leaking
That's
the
the
pick
worst.
before it happens. And here you want to watch. You want that anticipation. You want to be part of that excitement as your team just drafted XYZ. But now you find out a minute before, 2 minutes before.
2 minutes.
And don't forget this for the Minnesota Vikings to make their pick. This is probably going 10, 12 years, Rock, and they don't make a draft. They don't get on the clock in time to make a pick. And they say it comes up. I think it might have been Goodell at the time. The Minnesota Vikings have forfeited their second round pick or whatever it was because they couldn't decide what they wanted to do. We're sitting there at the draft party going, wait a second, they forfeited their pick? It might have been a second or third round. But that was one of the major gaffes. I'll never forget that. And everybody, to your point, was just like, okay, who the Vikings? All the Viking fans. What do you mean we didn't pick one? We passed no excuse for that ever happened. We passed on a pick.
You prepare for so many months, and you just
inexcusable. Pick. And what they were trying to do, they're trying to make some moves and trying this and trying that. And the one guy said lost track of time.
1 minute.
1 minute. 10 seconds.
I will tell you, I watch it every time it's on draft day. Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, it's good. That was
Kevin Costner.
It's awesome. I just think it's such a great show. Oh man,
Costner did a great job in that movie too.
Yes, he did. We'll get a reaction from Salt Lake City on the potential of the Coyotes moving up there. We're going to catch up along to Mr. Craig Jack. Actually, I used to work with Manuch. Guess where? Kansas State.
30.
Jeez, every do everyone. And Tom Lehman. That's all coming up. Hour number 3, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Wright Toyota here on Fox Sports 910.
Clear.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B has been sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable. And most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you right now. Like Alt2K, a commercial-free look back to alternative from the 2000s. Just search Alt2K and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every goal, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a game-winning goal in the final seconds of overtime or a shot on goal in the first period. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342.
Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
The only place you're going to find 3 10-foot screens with games on full volume in 3 separate rooms, all in the same bar.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
With dozens more big screens. You'll find every game you're looking for only at Dukes, because there's only one Dukes. Voted best sports bar by New Times.
Dukes on Miller and McDowell.
Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, darts, karaoke and trivia nights. 3 huge patios on the Greenbelt, all doggy friendly.
Miller and McDowell.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the Raffi Law Group studio. KGME Phoenix, KGST HD3 Phoenix. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app. All your sports talk, podcasts, and music. Free, never sounded so good.
Fought to get the start for the Diamondbacks as they return home to open the series with the Cardinals. He allowed 5 runs on 8 hits in his last start against the Braves in Atlanta. The Suns are in Sacramento for a key showdown with the Kings. Phoenix trails the 6th-place Pelicans by 1 game with 2 to play. 6th place avoids the play-in round. The Coyotes continue their run through Canada with a stop in Edmonton. Yotes have won 6 of their last 10. Amid rumors the franchise could be relocated to Salt Lake City. 3-star defensive back Xavier Scourin from Texas, the latest addition to the ASU football 2025 recruiting class.
All right, we're coming back in about 40 seconds. I've got the regular Toyota Stinger, and we have Craig on the
for all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs. Call Parker.
For tonight, look for clear skies, temperatures dipping down into the low 60s. And then for your Saturday, slightly cooler, but those temperatures still above those seasonal averages, 88 with plenty of sun. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
Is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
If you're talking to Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910, you're on the right Toyota phone line.
You guys are hot.
For yourself at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Right Toyota.
Seems like there's always on this show for the last 15 years of connection with Kansas State. It just every week, every day, there's something. Someone we're bringing on from Kansas State. I didn't even know that Little Apple had so many alum. But I thought, hey, we got to go up to Salt Lake, get a reaction on what's going on with the Yotes. But before we do that with our guests, the play-by-play voice of the Utah Jazz, Craig Bolerjack, joins us to talk a little bit about the Jazz first. But Craig Rock, along with, of course, what do you say? Everyday Wildcat, whatever.
Every man a Wildcat. EMA.
God. Thanks, Skippy.
How you doing, Craig?
Oh, I love you guys when you call. It's maybe once a year I get a chance to jump on. Look, the Manuch is the famed Wildcat, man. I'd say an arm, a gun. Back in the day, I was there. I can attest to all the greatness. I know that rifle that he had. And you know what I love, too? And I told him this the other day. I'm just glad that he continues to be out there on the field with young, hopeful, young quarterbacks and the camps that Manuch has always done. I think it's great, man, to give young talent all the skills they need and to hopefully give them a little insight what it takes to achieve in Division I.
I couldn't agree with you more, Craig, because every day at 4 o'clock we do a show and he's out training. Every day, 7 days a week, he's got kids. It's just, it's unbelievable.
I appreciate that.
This isn't about you, Manuch.
No, Craig, like I told you, I told Rod, just try not to screw him up, okay? Just to make sure, get him right.
You got to a Super Bowl last year.
I try not to screw Brock Purdy up, and look what the hell happens. He takes him to the Super Bowl.
What's up? You know, luckily you didn't touch Mahomes, right?
Hey, Craig, before we get just a Salt Lake reaction on what the news is, at least with hockey, let's talk about the Jazz a little bit. You finished your final home game last night. You beat Houston. It's been somewhat a disappointing season. Injuries were really the issue, huh? For the most part.
Yeah, there's a move right now, Manuch, that they've gone young. Last year they moved Gobert and Donovan Conley. This year they moved after they picked up Kelly Olynyk and Simone Fontecchio. Those names maybe aren't household names. And a young kid out of Kansas, Ochai Agbaji. They really decided that this is a retool. They want with Danny Ainge now part of the Jazz with Ryan Smith, who we'll talk about in a minute, they really want to open a window that's more than just a 1 or 2 or 3 year window in the West because it's so competitive. They want to be like what the Golden State Warriors have been able to do in such a long tenure with Draymond and of course, Clay and Steph. And that window's beginning to shut, right, real quick on the Warriors. And so I think the Jazz are just trying to put themselves in a position as a lot of the great Western Conference teams and those stars are beginning to age. Can they slide in with a younger base of players? And they have to hit, obviously, in the draft. And they have multiple draft picks. They got from the Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert trades. I think 15 first-round picks between now and 2029. So we've gone young. And, yes, they've had a lot of, veterans kind of be pushed to the side with injury. Some of those may be manufactured, to be totally honest. But, it is what it is in the world we live in. But it's a youth movement. And last night had a kind of a playoff feel in Salt Lake City. 13-game losing streak ends with a very high-level kind of emotional win against the Houston Rockets. Then we flew to Los Angeles. We played the Clippers tonight, and we finish up Sunday afternoon against the Warriors up at Golden State.
And the two questions here, Bowles, is what is the Danny Ainge factor in this that you've seen when he puts his paws all over this? And does he have the support of Ryan Smith to get this team back to playoff bound?
Yeah, he does. Ryan, though, has made it clear this isn't a long-term, like build. He wants it done, now. And especially when the talk of new arenas are being discussed, one for hockey, one again for basketball, some sort of a new complex downtown. You have to win to really sell the product to the fan base and the tax that goes with that, even though they have been approved with about $1 billion worth of tax money for a hockey arena. So that all comes into play. And I love Delta Center. That's the Larry Miller, the former owner, the late owner of the Jazz, built Delta Center in the Stockton and Malone era. And now all these years later, it's come full circle. It's been named multiple, names, Energy Solutions, but it came back full circle to Delta Center this year with Delta Airlines jumping back on. So it feels right. And then they've done a great job to renovate it. But, it's kind of where we are. New arenas, Ballmer doing his thing with the Clippers. It'll be our last game with the Clippers at Crypto.com, the old Staples Center, because he's got himself a $4 to $5 billion arena out by the Forum and SoFi. So, it's movers and shakers right now. And those who have the ability to roll the dice and hit. And Danny Ainge is one of those players as well. Ryan picked him up for a reason. He knew him from BYU. Ainge was a tough collegiate player, and we know what he did with the Celtics. He's won a championship as a player. He's won one as a GM. And he left behind really one of the most potent teams in the NBA right now, and that's the Boston Celtics, with Jason Tatum leading the way. They've run away with it in the East. And that's what Ryan wants Danny to replicate in Salt Lake City. And not down the road, but like right now. And he has all the pieces and the support, and I think also the money that you have to have. I think they've got a cap space of over $30 million this off season, so they can do a lot of things with drafts and free agency if needed. And also, do they move up in the draft? I can't wait. Summer's going to be fun in Salt Lake.
He's a long-time play-by-play voice for the Utah Jazz. Craig Jack here with Roc and Manuch. The buzz, I know you're on the road quite a bit, but the buzz over the last week in Salt Lake about the potential of the Arizona Coyotes relocating up there. How nuts has it been? If at all?
I talked to Ryan yesterday. He popped in while we were having a production meeting before the game, and he's really excited. But I think he's also very. Let me see if I can. He made it clear that, look, I'm not going to try to push or overstep my bounds. He understands the fan base. He understands and respects ownership, and he also gets what's going on, what they're trying to do, and can they get land right to build another arena. But that auction, I guess, is kind of standing in the way, and the NHL's got to make a decision. Ryan's got a building that Delta Center would be perfect for. I think the line sites aren't maybe the highest levels. It was built basically for basketball, but I love the building. I love it. And they've done great things with suites. They've got this Toyota Club that's down below the stadium arena seating. And I think in the configuration, it holds over almost 19,000 for basketball. I think comfortably it'd be about 14 and change for NHL hockey. So until they build that building or arena down the road in a couple of years, it would be a great stopgap for Phoenix if they come and if the NHL approves it. Ryan is a goer, and he bought the Jazz. He wants a championship team here, and he wants the same for hockey. He thinks that Salt Lake is ready for hockey, and the Millers, who
3 minutes,
Jazz, now are pushing towards Major League Baseball. So there's a little bit of competitiveness going on out there about stadiums and arenas. And Salt Lake, has it grown enough? I've been there a long time, and I'm honestly have watched this city and the whole valley erupt. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the country. Got a really high level economy with tech, a lot of tech companies in the southern part of the valley. And so I think Ryan has his sights on really making this a sports mecca. Look at Vegas and Salt Lake and Phoenix. That would really, if you go from south to north, I mean, that would be quite an alley of some high level sports that, could be really dominant for years to come in the western parts of the country. So kind of exciting, honestly.
Well, it sounds as though it's pretty much a done deal right here in Phoenix because Bill Armstrong, the general manager, flew
2 minutes
to Edmonton to talk to the Coyotes players pregame. And sounds like it might be hey, look, this is what's going to happen before they hear it via the news. So it seems like the skids have been greased. It's just a matter of, I think, as you mentioned there, Craig, you cross the T's and dot the I's, put the period at the end of the sentence with the contract moving forward.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw a date. Did you guys see the same one? Is it April 18th?
Yeah.
Where I think that's kind of where they decide it's going to happen or not. And, today's, so that's 6 days out. So it's going to happen. Whether it goes or there's a 11th hour respite, for the Coyotes, whether or not, they get some more time. But what was amazing, I think, that kind of sells it for me is that the NHL is actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, we were told yesterday, this has been kind of kept a little bit more under wraps in Salt Lake than I'm sure in Phoenix, but it kind of busted out yesterday. The NHL has done 2 different schedules for both Phoenix and Salt Lake City. Yep. So something is very close one way or the other.
Hey, real quick before I let you go, Mark Pope moving from BYU, going back to Kentucky, and a little disappointed with the Cougars. I had them in my bracket going at least to the Sweet 16, but talk about Mark Pope real quick, and that a good move for Kentucky, and who's going to backfill at BYU?
Yeah, backfill at BYU is still unknown. That's kind of a surprise. It was a quick move decision. He was a captain on that 96 national team, as you guys know. He's really a dynamic individual. I think they went through a couple of other, Hurley was, I think, stepped aside early, and a couple of other, younger coaches. He's 50, 51, but, he's kind of a guy that's not going to have the I don't want to call it baggage, but, Calipari, he's been around, and it kind of focuses more on the head coach than the players. And I think what you get with Mark Pope is a total coach that is totally engaged with his players. He's been great at recruiting internationally as well, which I think is going to open up a lot of new avenues for Kentucky basketball. And so maybe in some ways it won't be a lot of one and dones. I think if he goes international, he may get a couple players that stay and establish better with the fan base, players that they can relate to, like in the old days, Manuch. I mean, we never heard of the portal.
No.
We never thought about transferring.
No way.
We never heard of NIL, but it's such a business now that I think that it gets out of hand and the fans get turned off. At least it's the same way at Utah. It's the same way at BYU with NILs and transfer portals. Someone gets upset, hey, guess what? Mom and Dad told me to move on at 18, 19. We were told in the old days, play it out and make sure you played your tail off to earn your spot.
Amen.
But that's no longer. And I think Pope may bring a little old school back to Kentucky in that regard, because that's what he knew when he was a captain on that national championship team. So, and I tell you one other thing, he's going to probably quadruple his salary overnight. That's just the way it is. I mean, Kentucky has the ability to pay their coaches, and BYU not so much. Even though he was paid, I think $1 million and change. You go reportedly $5.5 million, I think is what I read this morning. So yeah, it's a great payday for him, and he's going back, I think, from where he wanted to end his career, where it all began. And so it's probably a really great story for him to go back to Kentucky to coach this team that he loved so much back in his playing days.
Craig, it's a game day for you. Thanks for squeezing some time out for us. We'll have to do it again maybe around the draft time. So we appreciate you making some time for Manuch here. You Wildcat.
I appreciate those kind words, Bowles. I'll put a check in the mail to you, or a gift card or something like that.
Well, look, I tell you what. Here's my one request. We come to Phoenix next year. I want to make sure the three of us get together for some lunch or dinner or breakfast before or after the show.
That'd be great. Love it.
That'd be great. Thanks so much, Craig, for the time.
All right, talk soon.
That's Craig Bolerjack joining us, the play-by-play voice of the Utah Jazz. You can follow him at Buckle Up Bowler. What a great Twitter handle.
Buckle Up Bowler.
We will have Jack's Rewind, but before he does that, his Masters update, and then Tom Lehman in 15. It's Roc and Manuch from Wright Toyota.
Clear. Traffic from the Valley Toyota Dealers Traffic Center.
Collision on the 303 southbound at the northern off-ramp. You'll find that sitting off right. West side crash, 75th Avenue in Thomas, and a crash with injuries in the West Valley on Bullard and Waddell.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up. Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
You ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
If you haven't tried G2G protein bars, today is the day. Find them in your local Costco's refrigerated section or online at G2GBar.com. Incredible taste and packed with protein. They are perfect for your on-the-go lifestyle. Check them out today.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, get a free quote at fogco.com. That's FOGCO.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
KFC's new saucy nuggets are here to show you what it really means.
All right, we're coming back in about a minute with the Band's Rejoin, along with Jax's Rewind after.
Nuggets available in Nashville hot, Georgia gold, honey sriracha, Korean barbecue, or sticky chicken.
You think we're gonna get through all of them?
10 pieces for just $5.99. Only at KFC. It's finger licking good. Prices and participation may vary. Tax, tip, and fees extra.
The Suns visit the Kings tonight. The Suns in 7th place in the Western Conference.
The longest one is a minute and a half.
33. They're one game behind the Pelicans for a chance to get that number 6 seed and bypass the play-in rounds. The D-backs have a 3-game home series against the Cardinals. Brandon Font is on the hill. The Coyotes are in Edmonton visiting Connor McDavid and the Oilers. The Oats have won 3 of their last 4 games. I'm Frank Aaron.
Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports
is
Network,
full of
presented
crap.
by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS. Because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility.
Yeah, you can give me numbers and I'll do them.
prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Leaderboard update.
This tradition, unlike any other, the Masters on CBS.
Presented by Vans Golf Shops. Swing into Vans Golf Shops.
You're hot.
Custom fit today. Vans Golf Shops. Unmatched service. Unmatched expertise.
Three-way tie for first. Max Homa, Bryson DeChambeau, and Scotty Scheffler all at 6 under. Scotty Scheffler even through 13 today. He just bogeyed 13 after going in the water on his second shot. He'll be followed by Hogert, who's at 4 under, and Colmore coming with 3 under, but 2 under for today, which is pretty impressive despite all the wind gusts, guys.
You're good. Homa. Max Homa, you see up there breaks all the time, huh?
Yeah, it's good to see him up there. Usually, this is his best 2 rounds that he's had in 14 majors, and some say that he doesn't really perform best, but he looks poised and calm out there. So we'll see him tomorrow. I'm interested to see who he gets paired up with, either DeChambeau or Scheffler.
And the gusts were up to 43 miles per hour. That's coming from the ground from Tom Lyman and all those folks, just to say that it was hot out there. And so I commend those guys for just surviving this back 9 at Augusta.
All right, let's do it, Connor. This is the part of the show every Friday that Jack's normally show he's off. Give us a little payback.
In case you missed this week of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, fine rookie Jackson Groff has you covered. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. Jack puts it all together, the best, the worst, and his one the funniest bits from this week's shows. This is Jackson's Rewind exclusively on Fox Sports 9.
So no surprise here, Jimmy B not here on the show today, but he will be here all over on this Jack's Rewind. So the first one we go back to Monday, April 1st. And sometimes during the show, maybe around the second hour, maybe part of the first third hour, Jimmy B kind of gets off in a different universe. He's not on the show, he's somewhere else. And this is a perfect example of him watching a video while the show's going on.
Their brand is a website called smackforheinz.com. It's live now. So are you looking for it? What are you watching?
Some crazy video, some guy running on the beach.
We're doing a radio show here, Jimmy B.
Yeah, I know.
A radio program.
It just popped,
Monday,
it popped up.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. With
Yes, I'm
Jimmy B. You're too busy.
No, it just popped up out of nowhere.
Now,
I mean,
he's
we're
literally
literally watching
show.
a video. So what's weird about Jimmy, he's not here to defend himself. I give him a brand new laptop. Google, yeah, whatever they call those things. The Chromebook.
The Chromebook.
But he's on his little laptop, or his little tablet. It's like, dude, he doesn't have, it's touchscreen too.
Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Let's make them both work. He doesn't need them both.
He doesn't. You can go like you can open it for Windows. And say, Jimmy, let me show you. Me and Jackson showed it. He's just real comfortable with his videos during our radio show.
Rock,
right?
he's got to look through Twitter to update you about random headlines that nobody cares about. Did you hear about the 12th string forward for Utah Jazz is out sick today? He's not going to play tonight.
Wow.
And he's always excited too, like we're going to get some kind of reaction. No. And then the whole thing with OJ, he had to tell me, like, I knew he covered him.
We know you've covered everybody. He's got a story about OJ. That was a little different.
He would have made up one. Speaking of embarrassment, Jimmy B being full of crap, Connor, you can go to clip 3 as this is from last Thursday's show last week of Jimmy B. Show off a little bit to the guys.
Manuch, how many times, and Rock, how many times have you guys been stopped and they figure out who you are, and they said, "Hey, don't do it again," and they walk away.
Never. Don't tell me it was you.
No, probably at least 5 to 6.
I think it's so in Washington, some little small town.
I'm
not here.
Jimmy,
This
you're
is-
embellishing
this is-
again.
I'm
You're
not
embellishing.
yeah.
I'm not embellishing.
5 times.
At least 5 times.
You're so funny, you know what?
Oh, God, what?
You are so funny.
I was. This one is. Manuch can vouch for this. In Buffalo, I was skiing and down at Kissing Bridge. Manuch will know where this is. I'm coming back on the highway, and it's 65, and then it changed to 55. I wasn't paying any attention to it, and so he pulls me over. I was doing about 70. Pulls me over, comes up to the car. I did exactly what you just said. Hands up, was nice, everything, accepted everything. And then I'm talking to him, and he kind of looks at me
3
and
minutes.
says, I see your skis in the back of your car, because I had a sports car and you could see through the window. Skis are when you go in skiing? I said, yeah, Kissing Bridge. He said, didn't you do your TV show down there yesterday? I said, yeah. He says, get out of here. I don't want to see you again.
Jimmy.
Wow.
You don't care.
I'm just telling you.
You know, the thing is, what sucks about both Jimmy and Manuch, we can't fact check anything that they say. Just so far from history.
They're so, you think they're so far fetched that they're actually true. They're actually true. I can't make that stuff up.
You know, like 5 or 6 times. He's got
he was a sports anchor at WGN for many years on TVs.
WBOO. Like so.
This next one, same show, about an actor like Jimmy B. He always wears his white palms, and maybe he got a little tipsy before the show because this example here, he had to have been intoxicated after playing this clip.
Did you guys talk about yesterday? No, we didn't. We're getting that. About that.
I referenced. I referenced.
You did. You yes. Well, how did you reference it?
I just referenced that he went out of his way to make sure that he brought the race card into the issue.
He didn't. What show did you do? Do you still do?
During our 3
hours. No.
It was on the rundown.
It was on the rundown.
Jimmy, we never talked about it. It was on the rundown. Even she was like, what? Because she would remember. I remember that. That was a deep subject. That was pretty deep. I knew it was on there, and we'd say, okay, if we get to it. We never went to it. I looked at him and went, wait a second. Are you, to your point, was he, did he misremember something there?
That is funny. And then the last clip, this is myself. I messed up. I try to help the guys producing and, finish sentences, and I jumped, interrupted Rock, and I'm sorry.
Good, there you go. It looks like Nick Oates of Alabama is one of the names that you keep hearing. You're hearing Scott Drew. Dude, God, sorry. You're hearing Scott Drew. Thank you, Jax. You're hearing Jay Wright.
I thought he was stumbling. I was trying to.
I think Scott Drew's been mentioned as one of the candidates there. Rock. Scott Drew, you mentioned him?
You jumped the shark. You jumped the shark, yeah. You jumped the shark. You did your yeah, you jumped the shark.
All the jokes that we have on the show.
Oh my goodness.
Let's know what they are.
I mean, we talked about that. Are you sure about that? Oh man.
I love Thursday. Thursday shows are hilarious. And that's Jax's Rewind.
Atta baby. Good job, Jax.
Thank you.
Atta boy Luther.
Tom Lehman next from Roc and Manuch with Jimmy Fox 10.
Trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
Playing round it.
No problem. Thank you.
The Suns wish to be. They will need some help to get out of it, though, with at least one Pelicans loss this weekend, and they have to win both of their remaining games starting tonight in Sacramento and then Sunday in Minnesota. The Suns are 7th, a game behind New Orleans. The D-backs are home for the Cardinals tonight. Brandon Pfaadt and Steven Matz in the pitching matchup. The Snakes are 6-7. The Yotes visit Edmonton. Coach Andre Tourigny reportedly seeking more info from the team about those reports of a possible relocation to Salt Lake City. Jermaine Kimber was left Bobby Hurley's staff at ASU. He'll join Bryce Drew at Grand Canyon. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910. Available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker and Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
For tonight, look for clear skies, temperatures dipping down into the low 60s. And then for your Saturday, slightly cooler, but those temperatures still above those seasonal averages, 88 with plenty of sun. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
Beat the heat with a patio misting system from Fogco. Let Fogco design the perfect misting system for your patio, pool, or leisure areas. Stay cool all summer with Fogco patio misters. Get a free quote at fogco.com. That's fogco.com. Fogco, serving the Valley for over 35 years.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part? We don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at venezias.com.